The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only.
How's everybody's father feeling today?
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, what do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Griff Garrison!
Whoa, who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
This is Griff Garrison!
That's right! That is right, folks! Who the fuck is Griff Garrison? But we already know who the fuck Garrison. We're just playing with Griff Garrison. We love you, alright? But welcome everyone to the Circle Debate, Cage My IQ, and Game Breaker Sports Podcast, folks. 213, the area codes, even though we still have some here in Cali, 213-323. There's so much shit here in California. We're going to have a new one coming to. Thank you, Governor Newsom. You're adding more area codes, which we do not need. Just 213-323 would be fine. But it is. I digress. That's a whole different story. But I'm not alone, of course, ladies and gentlemen. The host, Stephen Iverson. I believe for these three men very dearly, and I love these men with all my heart. We're going to introduce my three other hosts for this evening, folks. First of all, this man is the man of 1,000 words. He preaches his words every fucking time. And he always believes in
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yes, he does. He believes in Joe Hendry. And that's right. He even speaks Spanish sometimes.
Hey, cabrón! Chinga tu madre!
That's how he feels. The man of 1,000 words, Dan Bailey, folks. What is going on, baby?
Yeah!
That's right. You are
Exactly.
as well.
It wasn't that.
What? And then, of course, we have the CEO, not the CEO, okay? Not that one. This is a CEO for Game Breaker Sports. Make sure you go to GameBreakerSports.com for all your sports entertainment and sports and professional wrestling. For everything, the description right below. He is the banger, baby. The banger of all bangers that keeps us going after going.
Banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger.
There's bangers everywhere. Oh, that 2K, baby. We gotta do it somehow, some way, you know. We got to.
I always say I'm not worthy, Poppy. Man, I'm happy to be back. I love you so much, baby. Glad to be here.
Oh, we love you, man. We appreciate you and coming back on, man. And of course, our attorney-in-law who fights for us, not only just for Game Breaker Sports, but fights for COD as well, for the Debate Network. And that is, of course, remember, if you're stuck taking a shit or you're taking the longest piss or the fucking bus left you to get to work or get home, or you caught your girlfriend cheating on you, or she's masturbated by herself, then not including you, then you already know who to call. 1-900-Mussolini. The attorney-in-law, this man will fight for you. It's $3.99 consultation, okay? So remember, he is not responsible for any kind of Pepsi that is given to you, either Circle Debate, Game Breaker Sports, Top Rope Wrestling Talk, are responsible, and Cage My IQ are only responsible for this ad. Because he's Miss Mussolini and Kennedy. He's a motherfucking Pepsi. He fights for you, and you won't be sorry. What is going on, Pepsi Phil?
What's up? How we doing today? In case anyone asks, you always say you didn't do it, and you always ask for a lawyer.
That's right. And shout out to everybody already in the chat. Of course, the Redeemer himself. That's right. And Kayla and Tempos come back. What's going on?
Hey, Kayla.
Not Kayla. But man,
I'm innocent.
You are innocent to prove guilty. Let's get into it, though, man.
I can't speak on All Out, please, because I don't do snuff films.
No, we gotta speak on All Out.
I don't do snuff films, man.
We gotta speak about All Out because we have to talk about that. What the hell before we get into Dynamite. So man, all out. Wow. I just want to say very brief. It gave a lot of stories besides the one when we talk about Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna go through every match in detail. I just wanted to say it was the event was great. Of course, the match of the night for me, it's a tie between Pac and Will Ospreay, and I gotta give it to the ladies, Will Nightingale and Chris Statlander. They all
What?
Yes, I had to say that. Yes, we do have 2 great main events that happened, but those were storytelling, and it was gruesome. It was brutal, and I know everybody is, hi Kayla.
Hey.
And I know that it was just. I'm gonna save my shit till when we get to Dynamite. But the one thing about the swerve and and Hangman, wow, did not expect that. That was gruesome at his best. But this is a rebuild for meaning character-wise, like meaning as in like the story with Swerve. But man, the way how Hangman took him out, shit, got the whole world like, oh my god, what do we see here? Like, I know I heard IWC criticize, talk about, oh, this was like, I don't know if I put my kids to watch. Oh, this, no. Then don't have them watch it. Then that's fine.
We've seen worse,
way worse.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed this one because I disagree with you. I think the Willow and Stat was probably the best match of the night for me. Because I know you don't think there was a huge story there.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think their story was probably I don't want to say best of the night because everyone had a good match, but honestly, it was the one that had it had more old fucks than any other match of that night.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you there. I agree. The reason why I say it's tied because
I understand. Yeah, I understand. I think the problem I'm having is I'm used to that from Will Ospreay and Pac. Like honestly, it's like where's Will Ospreay? He's on Top Shelf. Okay, Top Shelf's going to be great. Willow and Stat, we have never seen that. I mean, they came close before a couple of times with another hardcore match they did together. But this was a whole nother level of violence.
I agree. I'm not saying you're wrong about that. The only thing why I say it's a tie because this is a reason. Because when was the last time we've seen Pac really have a fucking performance that match? That's It's been a long time, and we've seen that. But and I know what shit I want him to say, but the last time we saw him have like a moment like that we were like, oh my god, he might win this shit, was with him and Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw when he was close to winning the title.
Yeah.
That was the only time you could tell me that Pac had a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
Other matches I were like, okay, but I'm not saying they were the best. This one right here, like I feel like Ospreay woke up that Pac that we've been wanting to see, and that for a long time, and we haven't seen that side of Pac. That's why I put it a tie for that nature. I'm not saying you're wrong though.
No, I agree. No, what you said about Pac was absolutely right. Because honestly, the only time we've ever seen him cut loose like that is when he was with Death Triangle.
That's the only time.
But and
him in singles.
Exactly. And honestly, I've always enjoyed Pac. I loved Pac before he was in WWE. But truth be told, honestly, this is like the old Pac that I miss. Because truth be told, I know I'm saying a lot, but honestly, the last time he fought Orange Cassidy, that one pissed me off. That one pissed me off because there was no story there at all other than Orange Cassidy showing off. And he was great, but honestly, that's not the match I want to see Pac in.
Okay. All right. I want to hear what the banger got to say. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The show was awesome, man. I mean, for me, the show was all about the bookends. MJF, you guys haven't mentioned yet, but MJF and Danny Garcia put on a fucking clinic in that ring. I had a feeling the match was going to be violent. It was violent. The match was technical. MJF just once again shows that he can tell a story in that ring. It was awesome. Love that MJF got the win. You can't have this guy racking up back-to-back losses like that. But it's nice that Danny looks strong after the match, though. He put MJF out. He's going to be out for a little bit now. He's going to take some time off again. It makes Garcia look good in the process, even after a loss. So that was dope. And when I say the bookends, the main event, but Yeah. No, you guys know I love John Moxley. You guys know I'm a big BCC guy. Yo, I don't know. A wrestling story hasn't hit me like that. I really don't know when the last time I really felt the way I felt when Claudio hit that. And listen, I knew that Moxley was about to turn. There was no doubt that Moxley was going to turn there. I actually thought Moxley was going to bring in a crew to take out all the BCC right there. Claudio, Pac, Wheeler, Bryan, and they would have their little thing. And then Moxley would have his new stable. And he's just like, fuck this shit. But no, Claudio. And it was, like, I don't know why I didn't realize it with the deep V and the white tee. And I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together. But when Claudio hit Bryan with that uppercut, see, I'm fucking feeling probably Nipple Mania again, bro. I'm getting fucking goosebumps, dude. It was that moment with Bryan's face. He sold it the way he sold it. That look to Claudio, beautiful, beautiful. Pac just kind of floating around the ring. It goes back to Collision, which I had no idea. But the way Pac looked at Bryan as Bryan walked past him, it was the Rampage main event. Sorry, that bled into Collision or vice Collision into Rampage. I don't know. They fucking reversed that shit. But the way that Pac looked at Bryan when he walked past him, just like, get the fuck out of here, bro. But Bryan was the one who kind of brought him into the BCC, so I don't get that. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then the bag, the fucking bag, that was just vicious. Wow. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that in wrestling. I know Big Boss Man got hung by the Undertaker, whatever. But yo, just your best friend putting a bag over your fucking head and annihilating you like that, that's insanity. That's storytelling. That's like, I was sitting there like wanting to cry. Like, I'm like, what the fuck, Mox? And then you got Mox, Pac, and Claudio together. I don't know if you can make a badder fucking trio, I guess you can call them in AEW, a badder fucking trio than that. And they're going to add to it, and I can't wait. The Wheelers thing with Bryan things would make sense. Maybe they ask Wheeler to come with them in the future, which is why they didn't attack Wheeler in the ring. Wheeler crying, no John, Claudio, what the fuck, Bryan, Wheeler did it perfectly. Getting into that main event, though, fuck, yo, these dudes did everything we wanted to do. It was a fucking blood feud. It was a fucking year-long blood feud. When this feud started, Hangman was downer than fucking ever, okay? He was... Yes, Eddie was right about Claudio. That whole story, we'll talk about when we get to Dynamite. So I'm not going to like overkill it. I'll talk a little bit more about this when we get to Dynamite and the reason why Mox did and everything. But that main event, Hangman was so far down when him and Swerve started this feud. And it was even like, wait, Swerve's going to elevate Hangman? How the fuck is Swerve going to elevate Hangman? Yo, in the process, these two guys, this one guy became a motherfucking main eventer, a world fucking champion. A guy who a lot of people didn't think was going to be a world champion, became the face of the motherfucking company. Number 2 overall in the PWI 500. You can argue that he could have been number 1, but Cody was just... Cody had a Cody fucking year, whatever. But man, this match, these guys killed each other. And I mean, killed each other. And what did you guys think? It was a fucking unsanctioned, blackout, lights out fucking match in Chicago. You didn't think they were going to kill each other? Needles, fucking cinder blocks, fucking power bombs on cinder blocks. It was vicious. I loved every second of it. It made me cringe. It made me feel. The show was awesome. The show was a 10 out of 10. And I do want to show a little bit of love to Mercedes and Sheeta. That was a
Thank you. Yes.
Everyone's dogging that match. And I remember coming down the watch along that night. Everyone's dogging that match. And I'm just like, the fuck? What was so bad about that match? I thought it was a fine match. Just saying.
That was the best. That was the I'm sorry, Blake. You want to go? No, go ahead. My brother. You go ahead. You go. Bakley, that's on you.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I don't know how I follow that. Jeez.
Well, I mean,
you need 10 seconds to take another swig, with how long you want.
I had a lot to say, man.
Such good shit.
Good shit, I'll tell you that.
That's what I got to say about it. It's such good shit. Like, Tim, I pointed out a lot of the points I was going to say. We almost didn't talk about the attempted murder and the Swerve Hangman match. That's what I call it, the attempted murder. And then in the co-main event, you had another attempted murder, but that was the shock. And just like he said, they kind of pointed it out on whatever was Rampage Collision, the 4-on-4 match, the way that Pac looked at him. I like the way that they're spinning it up because I've always felt like Wheeler was more with Bryan Danielson than he was Moxley, Claudio and whatnot. Even though he was with Claudio, they had that tag team chemistry. He was more towards looking up to Bryan. Yeah. So it's like always that tug of war between Bryan and Moxley. Like I know Tim has said in the past, he was like, is Bryan part of the BCC still, or is he not? He's by himself, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Now we know. Now we have it to where Moxley was like, he was the guy. He was Regal's guy, and he called Regal the Lordship. That's all he would say. He was like, now I'm going to go on my path. I did it his way. Now we're doing things my way. So now we're kind of getting a little bit of it. But just the fact that we're getting all these storytelling and everything. We even had it a little bit on Jack Perry's side where he's acting as the sacrificial lamb during the match. We kind of had the tidbits with him and Luchasaurus, which was nice. Mm-hmm. But then he's been doing the Kenny Omega's knee trigger a lot.
Yeah.
And he's been using that as his finisher. So I'm like, I'm waiting for Kenny Omega to come back. They were all saying it was going to be Kenny and Okada. Now I think it's going to be Kenny and Jack Perry, and that's going to make Jack Perry even more of a heel and star than he is now. And I like the thing that he's doing now, where he's riding in the bus, but then he has a different jacket. It's the same jacket. He just changes the city every week. So it's a nice thing to add to his merch to build up his character, because he has such a good character now. Like, he's kind of erased that Jungle Boy persona that he has had in the last 6 months by just sticking to the scapegoat. They've built something. We've always thought that, how is he going to work it? He's done it perfectly, and he's moved up the ranks, and now I feel like he's in that mid-tier to main event scene now. And I'm excited to see where he goes. Like, if they do him and Kenny, who's going to win? Because I think Jack Perry could use it more, but he's going to make the return of Kenny Omega even bigger by how he has been mocking Kenny. So it's going to be – everybody's going to go crazy once Kenny Omega comes back healthy. I'll put that out there. I'm with you. Mercedes has done a good job. She's going to be shaky at first with how the injury was, but she put on a good match at Capital Collision, I felt like, a couple weeks ago with Momo, and now you have this match.
Yeah, she had a good match with her.
It's definitely a lot better than the match she had with Britt, where I felt like both people coming back, it was just a recipe for a disaster. Ospreay and Pac, magnificent. They're like, you got two Brits fighting at it, and I've seen so much stuff just in that one match that I can't explain. Like, only those two guys can do it. We need more from Pac, and I hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle behind Moxley, because this is a guy that is a workhorse. And Ospreay, I can't wait for him and Ricochet. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, like, we're gonna say when we get to Dynamite, we're gonna find a lot of that shit.
So
you got Garcia and MJF. From what I heard, Garcia was gonna win the match, and then they've been unsure, like with the status of him. Like, he's supposed to be re-signed, but he hasn't yet.
No, everybody thought that he re-signed, but he has not.
He hasn't. He said he's going to. He said he's going to, and the plan was for him to win, but they're playing it safe. So they had MJF win, but then that's why they had Garcia take out MJF, because I think he has a role in a film that he's about to film.
Yeah.
So MJF is going to be out for a while.
Yeah.
Statlander, of course, that match was crazy good. The work that they did. It was great that it was a hardcore match that it became, and I kind of like the fact that it wasn't for the title. It gave it more to fuel the rivalry to continue, because now she has that win against the Willow, and now they can do a title match to make it mean more. It kind of reminds me of the match that Yoda and Jeff Cobb had, where Yoda won twice to get the title match, but then he didn't win it. It makes the title match more important that she got the win to kind of earn it a little bit, and where she actually pinned her in the match. I just felt like this whole card was really good and one of the best they've done in a while, just for the fact that it's not just matches. They're meaning something now. There's something behind.
Somebody fucking said it. Thank you. That's all I gotta say. But I'm gonna hold myself.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny, Bakley? Last year's All Out 2 had literally like no build to it, and that show was one of the best pay-per-views that AEW's ever put on. You track forward a year. I mean, you like the storytelling is fucking. It's such a 180, but it's crazy that All Out back to back were fucking absolute banger shows, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think having that extra week in between All In and All Out made a big difference. I felt like
in the storytelling for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through all the matches. The only one I want to talk about is Mercedes Moné and Hikaru Shida. I will give like we have all said. I think me and Dom especially have said she came back too soon and she needed to get some of the ring rust off, and that's what was slowing her up.
Yeah.
Momo was a good match. This was probably the best match she's had since she came back to AEW. And honestly, she proved me wrong. And I'm happy about that because honestly, this is that was NXT Sasha Banks right there. That was legitimately the best match she's had, period. Like I remember I used to drag that poor woman. I used to drag the shit out of that poor woman. Talking about why is she back? Why she got 2 belts? The woman who fought last night, I'm like, okay, you deserve them 2 belts.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a solid match. She was great. The storytelling, and I'm starting to wonder if, based on what Mark Henry said a couple of weeks ago, if Britt Baker didn't accidentally on purpose sandbag her a couple of times in some of those matches, which I mean we can't say for sure. And I'm not, but I mean it's Mark Henry. He watched the match, so
I know. I heard him. I heard him on what he said on Busted Open.
So I can't. So it's not like it's Sean Ross Sapp or Dave Meltzer. It's like the dude worked. He worked at the company. He knows both of them. So if he sees something, there might be something there. So
I'm not saying you're wrong, to be honest, but it's a 50-50.
It's weird.
It's a 50-50, honestly.
The only reason I'm curious is the fact that if you go back to All In to now, it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That if you look at those matches, those are 2 different people wrestling right there. So it really makes you wonder if it just if she came back and this took her a while. But this was that was the happiest match I'd seen. That was the happiest surprise I had of the night because that was the match I thought would be the most boring. And not because like for any reason other than like her past experience has not given me what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You guys already talked about the other matches, so I'm not going to go into them. But honestly, I'm happy for Daniel Garcia and I'm happy for Willow and Stat. Pac was nice, but I think Daniel Garcia I most care about because we literally grew up with that kid. Like think about it.
He's a homegrown talent, man, and he did a fucking fantastic job. He's like he's done the independent circuit and before he signed with AEW this first time, and nobody expected him to be the way out his technicality. But man, people that had familiar with him, fuck yeah. So he did a fucking fantastic job.
It wasn't for me. It wasn't his wrestling because we always knew the boy could fucking wrestle. That was not the big thing for me.
No,
it was storytelling. It was a storytelling. It was how he built up that match, the energy he put in those promos before that match, and then the match itself, and the way he carried that story through the match. And I was like, okay. Like that's the other thing that the wrestlers need because like we talk about it. You can be a great wrestler, but if you can't talk on the mic, you might as well be Brad Armstrong. Knock wood, bless his heart.
Yeah.
Great wrestler. He just couldn't do it.
No, you hit it.
I will say this inadvertently, you are correct because that was not CM Punk's intention.
It wasn't, but he took it and he ran with it. So good for him that he took that shit and go with it.
I mean, it's like
come on for him to go into what was it big? Was it last year Capital Collision when he went over there and had the fucking Chicago fucking flag and then right behind him said "Cry Me a River."
Yeah,
No. Windy City Riot. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's
what
he did it. He did it in Chicago. That's the best part.
But you guys know what? As much as I love this man right here, Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, was already on that fucking trajectory. Now he might have been on this downward slope just slightly because he was turning heel. So he's gonna go that route, and he's gonna. I have no doubt that honestly, I think inadvertently, like you guys said, CM Punk did make him. But I don't have any doubt in my mind that at this point right now, heel Jack Perry would have been in the same spot with the TNT Championship. I feel like he would have been.
I think what happened was it gave him a gimmick. He was already turned heel, but it gave him a why, and it gave him that niche that he has now.
Yeah.
It was like,
did he have the beard before the fucking glass incident, or did he come back with the beard? Because the beard adds a lot to him.
It was small. It was like a scruff. It was scruff. Yeah. But he grew it out even more when he was over in Japan. Yeah.
The beard adds a lot to him. It does. It makes him look like a man instead of like a little fucking boy.
And I think the time in Japan helped him too.
House of Torture.
Learning a lot from them, even though he doesn't speak the language, he was still able to learn a lot. He's technically still part of House of Torture too, so remember that. And just like how he was when he came back, like he's always been known as a big time baby face, and then of course the Jungle Boy with the movie music and stuff. Now it's like the complete 360. Like he's a heel. Yeah. He's just like with the CM Punk thing, the scapegoat. That's his niche and nickname now, and it works. The way that he comes out, like if he's about to lose, he just goes like this and acts like a sacrificial lamb. He did that for the second time. It's just great. I love it. Like I'm not getting tired of it. Is the big thing. I got tired of the Jungle Boy persona. I could never get tired of the scapegoat. I could watch that any day now.
Yeah.
And this scapegoat over time could become a face. The fans could turn him face over 18 months to 2 years. And Bigley, I want to piggyback on one more thing that you said earlier with Kenny Omega coming back. Kenny Omega has already held 3 championships in AEW. He's been a world champ, a tag champ, and a trios champ. So yes, let Jack Perry win the first match. Kenny wins the second match. You have a rubber match down the road. Kenny Omega now is a 4 champion AEW with this belt, all right? And he is getting there, all right? So I think that's a lot to do with it as well. Love that call out of him using the V trigger.
Love it, yes. Yeah, I mean, also to add on about the Jack Perry gimmick, remember that he switched it and he was going through that Hollywood fame type of style, rest in peace his father. He was taking that, remember he was with the sunglasses going out before this gimmick elevated to that. And this that happened to him was, as people like it or not, it was a blessing because he took it and went with his idea. He's like, how you mentioned, basically, him going to New Japan and find himself gimmickly character, like, who is Jack Perry? Instead of Jungle Boy, who the fuck is Jack Perry? And that's what happened here.
Because he didn't come out with the goat mask until he went to Japan.
Yeah, he did.
I wonder whose idea that was. That's what I want to know. Because that was one of the best things.
I think it was him. Honestly, the thing I love about Jack Perry is that all of this feels like something he wants to do.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like the beard, the whole thing, the thing with the sacrificial lamb thing.
Ooh, I like that.
I do like that too.
I love that demo.
The thing about
the
thing about Jack Perry is what I think I'm seeing, and I mean it's obvious. It's not a big surprise. Jack Perry is probably a lot smarter, and from what I'm told, he spends a lot of time with MJF. Well, back before MJF got really busy with the movies and shit, but back before he left, like literally, like the weeks before he finally, like the whole incident happened. Before that, he was hanging out with MJF talking about wrestling and stuff like that, which, because MJF spends a lot of time, or at least volunteers a lot of his time to help people with their promos and shit like that.
Yes.
So, and I think him and Jack Perry spent a lot of time hanging out with each other. And I think Jack Perry set off for something. Jack Perry, like you said, the goat mask came into play, the scapegoat idea, because I truly believe that was his idea. I think the scapegoat concept was all him. The goat mask, who knows? I like to believe it was him, but truth be told, the Cry Me a River, I think that's Jack. That's all him being petty. 100% being petty, and that's why I love it, because that's literally in today's day and age, it's hard to be a real heel unless you're willing to go all in, and that's how you go all in. No pun intended. No pun intended.
I had to say it for you, the attorney.
Yeah, but like I was sitting there just going because we were talking about because I'm watching this and I'm going back to Hangman and I'm going back to like Swerve when he was a heel and everyone else. And truth be told, true heels are hard to find. MJF does a great job of, but true heels are hard to find. Like because everybody want to be friendly, everybody want to sell merch and shit. It's like I don't want to be a heel. He don't care. Like you got to be a dude who just does not care about making that kind of merch money. As much as I hate to say it, yeah, exactly.
That's
so
right.
So
you'll be back next week.
I mean, it's the reason I love Stokely. Stokely, the pettiest fucker in the world, for no goddamn reason.
Your brother? Why you hating on your brother, man? Why you hating on your brother?
In the world. Did you see his most recent post?
And what did he post?
He literally just posted the same thing Dave Grohl did. I had a baby outside of my marriage, but I'll be damned if I'm gonna name it Willow.
No. What?
And I'm like, that's honestly that's the kind of stuff you need. And this goes back to what Bakley said. The storytelling in the last 4 weeks at AEW has been incredible. It is honestly, we talked about it all the time. The matches were great, they just didn't mean anything.
Thank you.
And honestly, these like from the week before All In to now is nothing but a story. It's like it's like 5 different stories. I remember we talked about this the Dynamite before All Out. It was like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for All Out, like more than usual.
And you know what, to add on that, Pepsi, and I apologize to interrupt you, but add on that, really, like when we all got into All In, right? It was like the stories were rushed on this.
Yeah.
And putting matches like very quick, like having a stacked fucking card, which I'm not saying is bad, but the only thing is give us, how you mentioned, a story for it. There were certain matches that were stories, but not all of the card. Here in this one, as you could tell, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior, before we head into All In and then heading into All Out, there were stories already being inputted heading into All Out. So looking at this card, the one match that really got our attention, like what it mean, besides the 2 main events, and besides the Pac one, because that one was already, he was legit. He said, I've already got to get my challenge right after this, and the Willow and Statlander, that's another story. It was also the Garcia and MJF. Nobody expected what happened at All In, him showing up and doing, kind of helping Will Ospreay on that one. Nobody expected that. World elite. World. What else went on, Dylan? But yeah, you were saying, my apologies.
Well, no. It's just because I was thinking about it. So, and I know people may get a little confused about the storytelling because the stories we like are a little complicated. Truth be told, we're not asking for Shakespeare.
No,
we're not looking for the Godfather storyline, even though they do ape a lot of those stuff. Yeah. What we're looking for is what Paul Heyman and I think Jim Cornette calls it, is 2 people in a room who dislike each other for a reason. Yeah. It doesn't have to be the most complicated of reasons other than I hate your shoes and you stepped on mine. Like if that's the case, that's the story. If you can sell that story, that's all you really want. Like honestly, to this day, the Mercedes and I'm going back there, Mercedes and Hikaru Shida, not much of a story, but enough of a story that when it blended into the match, it felt really good. It felt solid. The rest of these,
for me to tell you about the Mercedes men's, it's for me was, you're right. You nailed it on the coffin when you said this is really something for Monet to get away from that rustiness.
Yeah,
and get used to that style. People were not happy that this story was not even a story. It was just, oh yeah, she got a challenge. Here we go. I'm like, okay. I mean, so was I. I'm not going to hear not.
There was the same people that were like, oh, there's a fatal 4-way on Collision, just a regular one, and a lot of people were like they should make it the number one. The winner gets the number one contendership for the TNT title. And then the same people that were saying it were like, why is this match being made? So it's like, what do you want? Do you want it to be just a regular match, or do you want it to be to see who faces her? Like, make up your mind, because
and they put that as the main event as well.
Yes.
Awesome.
And like I said, it doesn't need to be a complicated story. I mean, Paul Heyman said it best. This guy doesn't like this guy. Don't care why. They just dislike each other. What are they going to do about it? Bam.
Yep.
And that's and well, sorry, go ahead.
I said I like how, like, just looking at it now in perspective,
Mm-hmm.
the whole waiting on Pac to get the title shot. I think that has something to do with him going with Moxley and Claudio with that group, because when you look at it, he wanted his moment. He had to wait for it. He then winds up teaming with BCC in the meantime to go get the trios titles. Then you have that happen, and it kind of makes sense now because he was saying all along that he wants his shots and he doesn't want to wait. And he was getting put behind the 8 ball by Will Ospreay. So in the thick of things, they face each other. And even though he loses, but now he has this group that he's with now. When he was with the Lucha Bros, but now he's not going to be anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like now in hindsight, I'm like, okay. Now in hindsight, I'm like, okay, maybe this is why they had him wait until All Out.
And the thing is that's smart about it is that it was too late for Pac to join the BCC. Like there's enough baggage on BCC that bringing Pac in would just feel like a stupid gimmick. But having him join Moxley in this new whatever the conspiracy, I think it's called.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, the conspiracy. It makes so much more sense and it feels way more tangible. It's like what you said. There's a good chance that Pac will not get left behind because this is a legitimate faction. And the way we'll get to Dynamite and talk about the faction later, but having Pac be a part of that group that way, because there is a part that basically goes, because the way, and we'll talk about in Dynamite, but the way Moxley talks about this group, Pac is a perfect fit for it. I mean, honestly, it's better than friggin' he's a better fit than he would be in BCC. Period.
Yeah. And it all it took was him to have that vacation that he had.
Yeah,
he needs to take more vacations then because.
I'll be real. The Death Triangle was fuck. Oh, hey Tammy. The Death Triangle was awesome, right? And Pac fit with them beautifully. But I'll be real with you guys. All right, as beautifully as Pac fit with the Lucha Brothers, Pac fits so much better with Moxley and Claudio. And I'm so ready to see where this is going to go. I said that with Neville and Cesaro, that those two would have been a beautiful fucking tag team together. Fast forward, I don't care if Pac doesn't win a singles belt. Put Claudio and Pac together in that tag division and let them be fucking strength and speed, dude. Let's
and technically, he was already a double champ already, so he's one solo.
Listen, Lennox. Good to see you,
Lennox, my man. What's good to see you, brother?
What is going on, man?
But no, you're right. Like honestly, I'm excited for this group. I'm excited for the story that they build in, and let's get the Dynamite right now. Let's set it off because right now we're already bleeding into Dynamite right now.
I know, but before we're going to hit the Dynamite, Tony Khan, you did a fantastic job. I'm not going to say you didn't. I'm just going to say it right now, Tony Khan. I'm going to applaud you. Let's applaud you.
Let's fucking go.
Golf clap, gentlemen. Golf clap.
Wonderful. Good job here. You finally you gave us the pencil, but you give it to somebody else. Whoever you did, you're fucking listening to us. You listen to Game Speaker. You listen to the Debate Network. We've been digressing for you to tell fucking stories, and you're doing it. I'm happy for you. Thank you for doing this. And don't forget to let the audience know that if you're gonna bust some shit like this, make sure this is not a Simpson episode, all right?
Stop! He's already dead.
You don't want to bust none of that, okay? Because certain people gotta be like, I never seen that before. Like, I mean, like how Bobby Tim mentioned about the Bossman and Taker WrestleMania 15, only hanging in front of that. Like, I know none of us were expecting that either. So it's like, for us, because we're already. Keep in mind, folks, right here, here on the Debate and Game Breaker Sports Network, we are professional wrestling analysts, okay? And I don't give a damn. Everybody gets offended for me saying that word analyst because we are, damn it. We pay attention to details. But here,
I'm serious. I'm not going to sit back and take this fucking shit.
I mean, I'm not giving you shit, Tony Khan. I'm just telling you, just next time, tell the kids to make sure, hey, the following is TVMA for audiences, is pay-per-view. I'm saying I'm saying that, Tony Khan. You did a great job. Go play. I'll take it. Yes. Give it. It will. Give me. I got a lot to say. I'll tell you.
Wait till we get to Dynamite, because I got thoughts on that one.
Oh, you know what? I know you do. So might as well. That's the case. Better time. Hit it, baby.
It's time! It's time! It's Beta Dynamite!
That's right. Dynamite, folks. That happened 24 hours ago. It was look, Dynamite was actually great, to be honest. I'm not gonna say it was bad at all, because it really gave a lot of things heading into what we're heading to. But a lot of things happened here that I am not happy about, and I know people are gonna be pissed off what I'm gonna say. But I must digress, folks. I had to get this out of the way. But one thing I'll say: shout out to Ricochet and Sammy. Sammy did a fucking great job, and Ricochet too for selling for Sammy Guevara. He did a great job selling for him. Good match. I enjoyed it. I know the finisher. Everybody's like, "What the fuck? How come he's not doing the 960?" It's fine. That was his fucking finisher before. Even in Lucha Underground, you go back and look at that shit. He's done it before. He's done all that shit. Even in New Japan. Thank you, Baker. See, you already know. But we've seen all of that up from Ricochet. I'm happy for that Ricochet. Seeing Queen Amanada and Mariah, awesome. Good to see Queen Amanada. I'm so happy. Followed her career during the independent circuit. I'm happy she's somewhere that she's televised. And shout out to that woman. She's done fantastic. And it was good to see that story between her and Mariah. So it was great. Good to see that. Really is. Oh my God. You're teasing me, Tony Khan. I know you're saving it. I know you are. But when I saw it, I kind of knew it. I knew it in the beginning when Don Callis asked Will Ospreay, "Can you be Cal Pitch's partner in this battle royal?" And that's how I know if we're gonna get it. And then that's when we saw this piece of shit.
Bitch.
Knew it. I fucking knew it. But when I saw we said it. We all said it. This needs to happen. When that fatal, this is the reason. And I'm gonna say what Bagley said about the fatal four-way that happened and All Out. This is why it needed to happen, because you needed a tease like this. A Konosuke Takashita. I'm not gonna say Takashita how Jim Cornette will say it, because this man is the MVP of the G1. Now, Tony Khan, I'm telling you this right now. You better save that for Wrestle Dream, because that's gonna be fucking nutty.
Yeah.
I'm getting harder right now. Go on, I'm trying to hold myself.
Only got one beef, man. Only got one beef.
Oh, I'm gonna get to my beef in a minute. I'm gonna get to it. I'm just saying that's the only thing for me. We'll save the Moxley for last. I want to talk about the matches because that's the one that we all need to be like.
Okay.
Well, let's save that Moxley one for last, and with him and Darby, we'll save that one for last. I'm just talking about the matches, and the one to get to see. Good to see a battle royal. Finally, the fucking battle royal, the main event for Dynamite. We see tag teams. The Outrunners, of course, from Kentucky. Good job. I love it. I'm not saying they're bad. Awesome job. Everything. Seeing Ring of Honor fucking talent there. Seeing
Have you seen their video packages that they made on social media?
I still haven't seen it. I have to see that, man.
You gotta see. They're great. And I love the fact that they mentioned that they finally got the first AEW victory.
I know they finally beat fucking the Righteous, right? They finally beat them for once, I'm happy for them. At least they're getting that push. I'm glad to see that. But seeing Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay, I was happy of that. I'm happy of that. All right. Here's one thing I am okay. I'm happy, but then again, what the fuck are you doing mixing two stories into one here? And that's something that you should not do. That's where then I can say you're bullshit.
That's fucking bullshit.
Oh, you're bullshit, Tony Khan. And there's a reason why I'm telling you. There's a fucking mixing two fucking stories. One who is making his fucking return. Oh my God. In 2 weeks. Why 2 weeks? Why can't you save that for fucking World Ends? Why or before? And then you have another story, which we're gonna say that for last. Why are you mixing both? You got us like, huh? What the fuck is this? Like, no, because now you're throwing it off. Now you're really making it obvious how this is gonna fucking end. You're not supposed to do that. No, I get it. You're a fan, Tony Khan. I respect that. But be respectful in your booking of telling the stories. You're mixing 2 into 3 because the other piece of shit. Tranquilo. Tranquilo, because you're mixing a third one. And then especially the one who talked about, oh, yeah, well, hopefully that Brie gets you and fucking a CTE. Like, oh, really? Yeah, come on.
Go fuck yourself.
You go fuck yourself too. I don't give a damn, Christian Cage. But I'm just saying, I mean, like, shit, good promo. I'm not saying it wasn't a bad promo, but fuck, you got like 3 stories into one guy. What the fuck? That's where I get it. You're the champ. I get it, Pepsi. But if we're gonna talk about the I get it. But you gotta. How many fucking pay-per-views are left in this fucking year for AEW? How many? And why can't you mix it all up within those stories instead of putting in 3 to 1? Fuck, it's like playing a fucking dice. Like, here you go. That's what it feels to me. That's where my direction is on this.
I feel like everybody's saying that, but then
well, go ahead. You take it. I want to hear what's your rebuttal.
I'm seeing it. I could be wrong, but I'm seeing it in a different way. I'm seeing it in a totally different way. Of course, with they had said that Brian was going to be out. Of course, Moxley said he was going to be out for the future because of the bag incident there. It was a way to get him off for the storyline. And then Nigel brings it up that, he's going to be facing him. I feel like this is a fake out. I feel like this is a fake out for Nigel McGuinness. Think about it. Think about the whole promo that he cut. He cut that. He came back from the Kiss of Mariah, and when he came out to Oasis, he got Oasis to get back together. Them seeing him come out to their song, got them to come back out together. And then he's on his high horse. He was like, he tells Christopher Daniels, you and Tony Khan need to hear this. It's important. So he gets them in. It comes out. He announces that he has this match. What makes you think this match is even going to happen? What makes you think it's even going to happen? He could go out there. It could be a fake out because they know storyline-wise that he's out. If the match winds up happening, then I'll question it. But if they pull it off to where they don't have to match at all, he comes out there to Oasis, and then boom, he boasts that Brian Danielson's not here. Ref hit the bell, hit the 10 count, boom, he gets the win, and he could boast on Brian Danielson even more because he got a victory. As slimy as it is, but he would still get a victory because Brian Danielson didn't show up. And then you can still have that match with them down the line with Nigel having a victory, being the heel that he is right now against him. And then you can still have Brian show up and wrestle and defend his belt at Wrestle Dream against either Darby or him. And then maybe somehow you have the last match being him and Nigel somehow. Because what happens? I think that's where they're going to go with it.
I mean, honestly, the entire night, I don't have an issue with anything that happened that night. Like, I like the way it's built. I only had one issue. And I say this with all due respect, but with my whole chest. Fuck Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. They are not a fucking tag team. Tired of this mix and match bullshit. We got two guys we really like. Put them in a tag team. Are they a tag team? Just because they're in the same faction, don't make them a tag team. Just because they were in Japan, don't make them a fucking tag team. You got grizzled young veterans there, FTR, and like 14 other actual tag teams in that competition, and you give it to the two non-team first official tag teams. I mean, granted, they did tag together in Independence, but on television, it's their first official tag together. I don't think they did it in Japan, however. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
No, they did it.
Didn't.
No.
Yes. So my question is fuck that shit. And Temple's right. Overbooking Will Ospreay. Because right now it's getting close to overexposure. It really is getting overexposure with him. And honestly,
that's his third gauntlet match he's won now. He's the king of the gauntlet matches. He's won for 3 different fucking titles.
Exactly. And the problem I'm having is that's honestly the equivalent of when they used to give Jericho and Sammy tag titles and shots all the goddamn time. Just because we like Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher because they're a great team does not mean they should be a tag team. Will has a goddamn belt already. It does not behoove them any way, shape, or form if they get tag belts, so he would come close to being a number one.
I don't even think they win the tag titles. I think it's just a way to somehow create tension.
That's my
the whole situation.
I think it's going to bring Dump Truck back. Actually, is how it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but Dump Truck is going to be coming back in some way, shape, or form here, whether to join them or whether Aussie Open fucks Ospreay up.
Exactly.
I definitely didn't want them to blow the load on Grizzled Young Vets.
Thank you.
And give them the title shot, which I like the fact that they already announced FTR on Grizzled Young Vets for Collision. They announced that. Yeah, they announced that, and that's how they took Grizzled Young Vets out of the match. Was FTR rushed out and brawled with them, so you kind of programmed that feud even more with that, and then you still kind of protected them from the match itself.
Well, my question is if you make Grizzled Young Veterans the number one contender, but they already have a beef with FTR, it just now it's like Grizzled Young Veterans not just fighting for number one contendership, they're fighting FTR, the most decorated tag team in AEW, for that number one contendership spot. And for me, if you're a tag team and you're trying to save the division, quote unquote, giving it to 2 guys who are nowhere near, is nowhere near a tag team and probably will not last shit. They probably won't last to the next pay-per-view. It pisses me off to no end. Because, like, what's the point of a tag team gauntlet match if a non-tag team fucking wins?
Who do you give it to? Who would you have given it to, though?
Grizzled Young Veterans.
But then it's too soon. I think
won that match.
I
could have got the match at Grand Slam, and they should have lost, and that should have ended their feud altogether because they had the triple threat match at All In. Give them their last one-off match with the Young Bucks, and let it be it. The Acclaim should have won that match 110% to me.
I will give you this.
I agree.
I will give you this. If it came down to the Acclaimed and Grizzled Young Veterans, but the Acclaimed to win, that would make a lot more sense than just having like Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher win. Because at the very least, Grizzled Young Veteran came in hot. They picked a fight. They still lost to a better team, which we know for a fact that technically at All In, it should have just been the Acclaim versus the Young Bucks, period.
So you do it at
Great. And so basically having Grizzled Young Veteran have to pick themselves up, and all of a sudden FTR comes out and beat the shit out of them as payback, at the very least makes that last moment at All In make much more sense. Or at least it carries it over to the next storyline. But in the end, you know what the important factor is? It's a fucking tag team match. It's a tag team division. Tag teams are pissed at each other, and tag teams are fighting. Not 2 guys who wrestle well. Not 2 best friends who wrestle. It's tag teams.
I would complain, but then we see this all the time in wrestling.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Makeshift tag team, sure, but the only reason I'm going to defend this, and the only reason I'm going to defend it, because I agree with everything that Pepsi Phil is saying, plus more. I'm defending it because we want stories. I feel like they're trying to tell stories here. They're trying to tell stories within dissension of the Callis family. They're telling stories with the Takeshita. They're telling stories as will Ospreay and Fletcher win clean? Will Fletcher do it the right way, or will he do it the Callis way? Where the fuck? We all know, we're all fans. Dump Truck Davis is on the horizon, all right? So Kyle Fletcher goes, I only want to win this belt with you. I need to win this belt with you. Nah, bro. Your real best friend's coming back any minute. So my only saving grace is that we want stories, and they're trying to tell stories. The Acclaimed should have won that fucking match. They should have went to Grand Slam. Bakley, what you were saying, though, spot on. However, if Brian shows up next week and wrestles Nigel, this will be, bar none, the stupidest fucking thing that man has ever booked. Because you got the hottest fucking story with fucking your best friend fucking killing you, And then you wrestle this technical fucking masterpiece against Nigel McGuinness 15 years from the last day you wrestled or some bullshit because it's 15 years from the last day you wrestled. Fuck off. No way. That is bullshit. And you're bullshit, Tony Khan, for this, dude. There is nothing.
And I'm only interrupting because you said something that literally made me think that honestly you may have booked a match the way it was supposed to be. That's pretty fucking hilarious that I don't think people recognize. Imagine if it's all technical wrestlers versus the conspiracy. What if in the middle of the Nigel McGuinness Bryan match they jump him? Because keep in mind, Moxley gets, and we get a Nigel McGuinness, Bryan Danielson tag team with whoever else they decide to bring in, and you book that shit. You just book that shit yourself. That's you. That's you.
Let me see. They someone in the chat put his name.
You can put Eddie. Yeah, exactly. You can either put Nigel, and you could also put Chris Hero, or you could just put Eddie. It could just be Eddie. Yeah. So I mean. And Lord knows Eddie got that eternal beef with Claudio, so it ain't like they ain't got fun. And Wheeler Yuta's going to be the hinge point that pretty much gives him the edge, because if Sami Callihan does come in, it's going to be Wheeler Yuta.
Wouldn't that be funny because Eddie hates Bryan Danielson too?
Yeah, exactly. Well, he respects Bryan Danielson at least.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah, there is respect. There ain't no respect with Claudio. I think if we work in the same company.
Yeah, that's why if that match goes down, it'll be the biggest error that man has put fucking the paper. He cannot. It cannot. I get, like you said, Bakley, for the story with Nigel and Bryan. That's beautifully another way to tell another good story. Great. But you cannot say that Bryan can't show up to wrestle Darby, and then Darby has to defend his number one contendership against Mox. And then Bryan's there to wrestle Nigel. That's just something you cannot fucking do. And as far as the Christian Cage stuff goes, why did he win that match even in the fucking first place? I don't hate it, but like,
just wait.
I'll meet you. I'm gonna wait, but yeah.
All right,
it's over, Bobby. I mean, the first.
I just don't know why the fuck he won that match in the fucking first place. I get like now the Luchasaurus thing showing up after that match with Jack Perry at All Out was kind of cool. Like I'll give them that spot. But man, I'm fucking over Christian, dude. I get he's like an actual heel, and maybe that's like why I feel that way. But I don't fucking need Christian anywhere near this shit, dude.
I'm sorry, I prefer more Christian Cage than Chris Jericho right now. I'll be straight on. I prefer that shit.
Oh, much so.
But I'd rather take that.
I think Christian Cage is white noise for that match. That honestly isn't necessary. I agree with you, Tim. But here's the thing. It's like what you said. If it came down to it, giving it to a legend, who would you rather have, Jericho or Christian Cage?
Christian Cage.
Easily.
Easily. So I will like even if it's go ahead. Oh yeah. I want to see your pops fight, man. That ain't necessary.
No, my father Christian.
Okay. Oh, fair enough.
Oh my God.
So my thing is, does it happen at a pay-per-view? Probably not. I don't think it's going to be a pay-per-view match. I think it'll be a Dynamite match. And then I think somewhere along the way it's a Dynamite match. And maybe does it lead to something with Luchasaurus and him? Who knows? But honestly, I mean, you can, but it's not. And I said, I'm sorry, Christian. It's not pay-per-view worthy because they have, like you said, they have literally set up a bunch of ducks before, like after that, like in that same role that you want to see more. Like if you had a choice of Bryan and Darby in a pay-per-view versus Bryan and Christian versus Bryan and Mox and Bryan and Nigel, which one of you, who's the odd man out? Who's the odd man out but Christian?
Christian. And let's be real. At this point, once Moxley beats Darby at Grand Slam, Moxley is going to beat Bryan for that fucking belt and take it back, right? I mean, am I wrong? Or Moxley's taking that belt right away. And we're going to tell the story. And this is why this is so beautifully fucking told again, Tony Khan. As much as I just ragged on you, if that match happens, which I don't think it is going to happen, but if it happens, this thing with Darby becoming the next Sting and Moxley's new group being the NWO and Darby being the one to take the belt off Moxley like 6 months from now, oh my God. I'm here for it, and I can't fucking wait for it, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
why couldn't Darby take the belt at Wrestle Dream?
He can.
I don't know because they want to tell whatever they're telling with Mox right here, and I'm good with it. And
but here's
remember his whole story is like you said, with Bryan Danielson stepping away, he loses to Darby, and then that's how you start. And because Darby has already going to he beats Moxley at Grand Slam.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the story starts with him and Moxley, with the whole group first, and then, like you said, Darby being the next thing.
No, he can be.
Darby has the belt, and then Moxley and his group.
But right now, as much as I love Darby and we love Darby, with all that talent on that fucking roster right now, is Darby Allin in this current right now today? Is he the guy he should be representing AEW? Or do you build him up an extra 6 months of kicking the shit out of everyone who comes in his fucking way? And at Revolution, a year later after his mentor retired, he takes the belt off of the guy who's been running the company, took the company over the last 6 months. I don't know. I think that's where the story is.
I actually think I think he is ready. I think he truly is ready. The reason being is because Mox had already said it ain't about titles. Like that in his promo, he said it's not about titles. So it gives Darby a thing to fight for. Because if you give it to Mox, he's a guy. I mean, the NWO thing, he gets a title who he doesn't really care about at this point, based on his own promo. So do you give it to Darby and have him, like, quote unquote, save the championship for Mox? That one hand, yes. On the other hand, you have Darby be the champion, the Sting-like character who has to fight against the conspiracy. I'm not using NWO, so don't make me use it. But against the conspiracy, whose literal job and their entire mission statement is to beat the shit out of anyone with an attitude. Sammy, I would watch your back, bro. See, because Sammy gonna get jumped by Marina Shafir by herself.
But Pepsi Phil, if Mox doesn't care about the title, then why the fuck is Mox challenging for the number one contendership for the title? Like
ego. He doesn't like people with egos.
He's just doing what he's told, because we still think that there's somebody that's really pulling the strings and not Moxley.
Do you think Darby's going to beat Mox?
Yes, I do. I think Darby's going to win. Like everybody's saying he's not ready. He's not ready. I think he's ready. We've had so many wrestlers come out and talk about, in defense of Darby, saying this is the most he's one of the most smartest guys in the locker room. He does all these crazy stunts, but you'd be surprised at how safe that he is doing them.
Oh, no, yeah, I agree.
And it's not just it's top level talent on that roster. And they say if you knew how safe he was and how picky he is with the spots that he does, you'd be surprised because of all the stunts that he does. But he has that mind. He's building that character. The fans love him. Like, we get a lot of people talk about him, but when he comes out, people cheer for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's the perfect kind of opposite to Moxley. And you can create that divide. You can create that, like, babyface and heel between the two of them. And the fact that he's been able to learn from Sting from the last couple of years, and he still has Sting there to utilize the knowledge to book into what he's doing now. And we don't look at him that way because of the way he looks, how skinny he is, the paint. He doesn't fit the wrestling like mold, but he is.
Well, what does that remind you of? And just to add what you're saying, and you're on point.
That was Edge.
But I'm going old school here. This reminds me of Sting and Ric Flair when Sting was a surfing Sting. When Ric Flair was a champion in WCW, when he told Sting that you were not ready to become.
You went way
exactly. He told him the same thing. You're not ready to be a world champion. You're not a world champion material. And the crowd was behind him, but he was a chaser that was a great chaser for it. And when he finally won that belt away from Ric Flair, it was the biggest pop of his career. And now it's when he was Surfer Sting before he became the regular Sting that we know. I'm going back that far because that's what his story, exactly what you guys are saying with the whole Moxley and Darby situation, it reminds me of that. Now, so to add what you guys are saying, now that we're talking about the Moxley, promo and everything else, this is the right now, this is the greatest story right now that is being told in AEW because it got us. Where the fuck is this going with? There's so many scenarios here on that story. But
is it a good thing? Is it a good thing though?
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
Right. And I'm gonna go details of it. The other two, I'm like, fuck. All right, I like what everybody says here about maybe this could be not gonna happen between Nigel and Brian. Maybe they join forces against this new BCC. Maybe we don't know. This is where it has us now. Okay, now it got us thinking, assuming, and this is how you tell the story and all about. Because now it is going to make you tune in the following week what is going to happen, and the following after, and the following after. Now, here's one thing that all of you guys are saying. Okay, you're saying Darby's not ready, TK. You're saying that Phil and Bakley that he's ready. I'm going to say he'll be ready at Revolution. I'll say who's gonna fuck up this year for all of us is gonna be this man. I'll guarantee you this. He is gonna. I'll tell you this. Moxley will win the belt. However, somebody will.
Do you wrestle?
Thank you.
Do you wrestle?
No.
You don't wrestle.
I did back in the day.
I'm sure you sucked.
So here's
I think I know what's gonna happen.
But hear me out. Before, and I apologize. Hear me out.
You're good.
Because this man is gonna cash it in. He's gonna bust the fucking Edge. What did Edge do at fucking what was it? At
Revolution.
Yeah. Right? He did the same shit and fuck up the whole shit. It could happen at World's End. World's End and just hold on. I'm just saying it could happen there or maybe before. I may be wrong. But remember, nobody expected Samoa Joe to win that last year. Nobody expected that. This is the same thing that Christian Cage could do this year and piss everybody off. Would I be upset? No, because that's how you tell a fucking story right there. And you have two guys who are feuding for this belt, and I'm like, what the fuck? Which is Darby and Moxley. What the fuck just happened here? We just lost the title to this guy and piss everybody the fuck off. To end that way, would be perfect. Then Revolution, you have Darby challenge for that. You have Moxley busy with Brian's crew now that Brian's going to stop, but he could bust a win in Regal. I want to say about that, they mentioned Regal on this program, and I'm happy they did. Shout out for William Regal for what he said. For Moxley for saying that too. My Lord, yeah, and everything, and saying Lord, but the Lord more focused on you, Brian. And Moxley hit all that promo on valid point on everything when he said. It was like shit. It got me fucking goosebumps. Like shit. But when it comes to the title situation, I mean, I see Darby will probably win in that next year Revolution, like Tim saying. I see that. I just see Christian pissing people off by the end of this year, cashing it in, and fucking just get everybody upset. Which
Okay.
it wouldn't upset me. For me, I'll be like, let him have it. Fuck it. What about if Shane fucking shows up and causes it?
Nah, that's
I hope not. But I'm with you.
I just don't know the point of putting Moxley back in the fucking title picture in the first place. I'm like, that's what's throwing me for a loop here. Because if you're not, this man in this role right now is basically taking his company back. I mean, I just don't see it. That's where it's not adding up.
What's the best way of taking the company back? By having the title.
Moxley. Right.
So here's my thing. So here's my thing about Darby. Everyone keeps saying whether or not he's ready or not. You touched on it with Edge. Here's the thing. Edge wasn't ready when he got the belt. Like he really wasn't. Nobody wanted him to have that belt. Right. It took what? It literally took how long before he actually got accepted as a world champion? And honestly, Darby, for some reason, I didn't think Darby could be a good TNT champion until he got the belt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
what the best.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that kid does, but once he gets a belt on him, he literally takes it to a whole nother level. So is he ready for the championship belt? Yeah, I think he could probably take it to a new level. I actually think him defending AEW from Moxley and his conspiracy, for me, is a much better story. Because truth be told, that is some Lord of the Rings shit right there.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Lord of the Rings shit right there. Now, does he keep it? I don't know. I mean, Moxley at one point will have to beat him for that belt, or they pull a Seth Rollins heist of the century, and somebody gets screwed over, and Christian gets to hold the belt for a while, and then it's like Moxley versus Darby trying to get the number one contendership to beat Christian.
Well, that's the way to prolong that Moxley
Yes.
and Darby storyline. Because I was just thinking right now, what if you have Darby beat Moxley at Grand Slam? Yeah, Darby versus Bryan Danielson at Wrestle Dream.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of them wins because you have Moxley's crew come out and attack both of them, and then just like Ivan said, cue Christian Cage to come out to that mess and get the pin on. Because I don't know how would they just make it him versus Bryan Danielson, because they would do a double DQ on the match because they attacked both of them.
Yeah,
and you just have Christian win. That way it protects Darby because you want to build that thing up with him and Moxley there. But then you have Bryan Danielson where you leave that little thing of him coming back to challenge Christian, because Christian would have the title. Or
and you extend his retirement.
Because they've been advertising him for World's End. So you could do that, or you just have him retire right there and be like, "Oh, I lost," and retire. Then Christian's the champion, and then you use him as the catalyst to prolong that storyline with Darby and Moxley, kind of like what they did, having Samoa Joe be the catalyst after MJF left. And it created time for us to see the rise of Swerve. It gave them an extra 4 months of building that character up.
Okay,
just by doing the simple thing of taking the title off of one guy and putting it on another, and you have that way with Christian.
So you have Christian as the catalyst for the build up for Darby, and that's actually a good call. Also, I will lie to you, I kind of want to give Tammy the pencil a little bit, because she's been busting off some bookings, and I'm like, oh, that shit might be interesting right there.
That is interesting, honestly. Tammy, you're fucking, oh my god.
Tony Khan, hire her.
Yeah, so
it's
been but honestly though, but I think what was it? I think Bakley, you hit this shit on the head. We are literally at a point where we just don't know what the fuck which route they're gonna choose. We don't know for sure. I mean, we have a vague idea of what we want to see, but we can't predict what the next move is going to be, because God bless Tony Khan, he done learned how to keep shit and listen to storylines. So he actually wrote a story that has multiple endings, which honestly is a nice start.
I hope it wasn't him. I hope it was fucking Moxley and fucking Bryan.
Honestly, it probably was them who came up with the concept. Because let's face it, this entire conspiracy thing, that's Moxley right there. That ain't no gimmick. That's that dude's video collection. That's legitimately his video collection.
It reminds me of like back in his old days of Combat Zone Wrestling type of style.
That's why people.
It really does. Like his story.
They expect Sammy Callahan to come in too, because remember, Sammy's a free agent right now.
I think we're seeing this all wrong. I think while you guys are talking, I was thinking a little bit. The wheels are churning in the head, and I think actually, what if once Darby wins the title for the first time, that's when Christian fucking cashes in. Darby beats Moxford or whatever, however the fuck that goes down, right? And then right when Darby wins the big celebratory moment, that's when Christian fucking pulls his high. And then, like Bakley said, then you have Bill Darby back up chasing Christian, gets the belt, has his run. I mean, there's
that could work too.
A lot of ways to travel down. It's very
if he uses Luchasaurus, it's actually more likely to happen that way. Just have Luchasaurus beat the shit out of him, and then Christian comes in and gets the pin, which they did. They already showed you he has done it before.
Yeah.
So that's how we got the number one contendership in the first place. So
and maybe the way Darby finally gets the title back is the demise of Christian with Luchasaurus, where Luchasaurus finally is like, I've had enough. Kind of like what you've seen on ROH with Athena and Billy Starks. She's finally having enough. Kind of like that similar situation.
Outrage. So
Dango.
Dangizo. But
You know what would help with this whole situation? If they went and they took that fake ROH world title and they actually had some brand separation, and you had two brands. You know what? You had two world titles, and you had mid-card titles on each show, and you kind of went from there. Because I'm looking at a screen right now where, I'm sorry, boys, but Darby and Christian are like 4th and 5th for who I'd want to be world champion on the screen. And when you got Okada, you got Ospreay, you got Moxley, you got Pac, man. I'm still thinking Claudio is a fucking world champion. Like,
yeah.
I think I'm just saying Takeshita's on this fucking screen. Ricochet's on this screen. I mean, dude. All I know is that they took that fake ass ROH bullshit that they're doing right now and turned it into a second actual brand, had 2 real world champions. I think this company would be in better shape, but I digress.
No, I'm with you. You're not wrong about that. My thing is really more that that's why they need that television deal. That's what they need in order for that, because they got something in advantage that we already heard that Fox is already intrigued. The deal's not yet done. Rumor your window. Keep in mind, folks, I'm not piece of shit. We're not piece of shit, Seltzer. We're not piece of shit Alvarez or Sean Ross Sapp, Wade Keller, none of that people. We just hear it. We give our opinions about it. We analyze the situation. So, I mean, they trademark Shockwave. We don't know what they're going to plan from that. We don't know. But the one thing that really Tony Khan needs to sell marketing is really fucking have Ring of Honor. You got the library that everybody wants. Everybody wants that fucking library. That's one thing. And make Ring of Honor, how you mentioned, TK, make that as your second brand, but make that a brand to be like a meaningful something, what it was back in the days, in the Anthem days when we used to watch it on the television. So it makes something that is got us a guess.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we want. You're right.
And Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I know Warner Brothers was looking for that. I hear that, but
they have the infrastructure for it. Shit.
Yeah, but
because there's no disrespect to Mark Briscoe, but when Mark Briscoe is your ROH world champion and he's fucking challenging for a mid-card title in AEW, I just am not comprehending what fucking sense that makes.
I'm so with you on that. It doesn't make any sense either for a world champion.
If he's gonna be world champion, just keep him on Ring of Honor, not. Or if you can have him challenge for the AEW World title, so then it kind of means something.
That's correct. They're parallel fucking brands. Yes, dude.
Yeah, just like that. But I don't think they need like a brand split thing, because we've seen it doesn't mean anything on. But just have it as a separate thing. I like what they're doing now with it, but like you said, the one big thing is Briscoe being the world champion, but then being in the conglomeration, which has been my favorite faction. Of the year, I gotta say that.
Show y'all how we do in the conglomeration, baby. That's right, because we're about to.
I meant to ask, does that mean ECE is in a conglomeration, by the way?
Yes, he is.
Yes, his face, his Big Tom's face is on the shirt. So
it is. That's right. That's right. No, I can't do another tournament.
And they mentioned it. And they mentioned it on. They mentioned him being part of the group on New Japan the other day. Which was great. But I think they should. Like, I love the fact that you can put it on Max. You can do that. I think you can use it for what it should be: is building younger talent and be like not NXT, but kind of like NXT, where you grow the talent, because they essentially are already doing that. And then if a big name talent wants to work Ring of Honor, let them. Like Athena has said, she wanted to stay in Ring of Honor. She could have been up like 2 years ago, but she asked to stay down there.
Because you know why? Because she already knew, besides with that, what you mentioned, and I know you're going to mention that she wanted to work with that. You're not wrong about that. But also she knew that if she would have gone over there, what television time she would have had. She would have been in catering most of the majority of the time. She'll be more then she can use that time when she's doing a Ring of Honor when Billy starts. And with the other announcer, I forgot his name. She's better off doing that and making that women's
Lexi Nair.
Then she's doing better there than what she would have done over there at fucking AEW Dynamite or Collision.
Big fish in a small pond, or small to medium-sized fish in a big pond.
Yeah. And I mean, what you're saying. Oh, go ahead.
There's no disrespect to her because she's fucking
no.
Big
honestly,
period.
Honestly, ROH does. I kind of want them to do the ROH. I want them to do the WWE TNA thing. Getting past the fact that however that partnership works, ROH has enough of a history to literally carry its own weight. Like it has enough. I guarantee, if yesterday they said, if tomorrow they said ROH is going to be on Max. Max is literally Max's membership subscription service will probably triple overnight. Because honestly, it's $16. If you can get every single ROH match over the course of like a couple of months, literally, maybe, that'd be nice. Wouldn't you do it? I mean, that's the reason. That's the reason WWE went to Netflix, larger audience.
Yeah.
Max is a major company. They've already proven that people love ROH, so I think it actually would work. The problem is that if you do it, that means it goes back to Baker said, they have to be separate entities. You can't have Mark Briscoe running around fucking like going for a mid-card goddamn title because he's a world fucking champion. That has to mean something.
World champion.
Exactly. And that's what's missing here.
You see, I think the thing with him was like an accidental thing that just created this whole conglomeration thing because of the Eddie Kingston injury created all this. Which thank you, Eddie, for getting hurt. I don't mean that, but like just because conglomeration was formed because of that, essentially. And I think it was kind of accident because before that, Briscoe wasn't doing that, but he had to fill the role of Kingston, and they just ran with it. But now, looking at it, if you're going to do that, take the title off of Ring of Honor title off of him. Just take it off of him so you can do this stuff, and then you won't have this criticism because he won't be a Ring of Honor champion for you to criticize. He's getting all this TV time.
Or let Athena do the same thing that the fucking men world champions have got to do. Like, why can't she be cross fucking branded? Why has Eddie been fucking ROH champ on AEW? Why is Claudio, Jericho, Mark Briscoe? Why is Athena just stuck?
Like I said, I think she asked to be, and I think she's gonna be coming up because she's
even if it's her choice to stay on the brand, why can't she be the focal point of the brand and still travel elsewhere? Unless she doesn't want to, unless she doesn't want to put the time in.
No, I don't think that's
because she's been
I'm kidding.
They
tape the shows at the same venues, dude. I'm fucking kidding, man.
I know. I think this is smart the way that she's doing because she is going to get put onto AEW as soon as she drops the belt to Billy Starks. Perfect way for her to sign off on a Ring of Honor, spend the two and a half years there kicking ass. She's going to go up. And just like Tammy said, I think she's going to be the one that takes the belt from Mercedes Moné.
I wouldn't mind that, honestly, because that will be perfect.
Chef's kiss right there.
Yes.
Yep.
Shout out to Tammy.
I mean, you said it too. But I know that Ring of Honor is it's not like the NXT. But remember, they were actually the first ones in the independent circuit wise. Before they made it before where it is. And I'm going way back when Ring of Honor started.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Ring of Honor, we wouldn't have the AJ Styles, the Kenny Omegas. We wouldn't have the stars that we have now.
Brian Danielson.
Brian Danielson. We wouldn't have Samoa Joe. We wouldn't have
Punk.
Punk. Yeah, Phil Brooks, CM Punk. We wouldn't have him.
This
was the one that a lot of these major products like WCW back in the days, WWF back in the days, were looking at this product. Even New Japan at the time. They were looking at this product because this is where they were scouting their talent. Okay, this guy could be a future star. This female could be a future star. So we got to give credit to Ring of Honor where credit's due. They were the first actual NXT developmental, even though they were only their own entity in their own product.
And Japan sent their excursions over to Ring of Honor.
Yes.
When they wanted them to gain,
That's what I'm saying, that if it wasn't for Ring of Honor, the founding of pretty much Forbidden Door, you want to say it that way, because they were the first ones to do it with CML, with AAA, with New Japan, how you mentioned. That's why that's how, and I'm with you, TK, about they need to be their own entity and just not mix it with AEW. It's fine to have here and there talent that don't. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But when Mark Briscoe's in this, he's a world champion. Why? He's for a mid-card title. I get the gimmick. I'm not hating on the gimmick. It has something to do with the gimmick. It's really just more the world champion. You're making him fight for a mid-card title doesn't make any fucking sense. You don't see Athena doing that. You don't see her going over there. No. She'll do that when the time is right. When, let's say, if Monet decides to call her out, Well, I want more belts. I want that belt. Oh no, bitch, this is gonna be mine. No, you want? I want your shit. And that's how you start. I wouldn't mind that shit being a Forbidden Door fucking matchup, or even being a World's End matchup. That's how you mix it with Ring of Honor. That's why Ring of Honor needs to have his own entity, and with HBO Max, will help them get that entity along with the library that's already there. So that's something that we're digressing of that for that reason. We're not hating the fact that the talent are there on television. We're hating the fact that they're not getting television. The whole roster is what we're digressing about. Is really that they need to have that. If NXT took them a while to get what they got, and Papa H took that risk, then why can this man take the risk for this one? But I get it. If you got to play a smart marketing style, how to sell it to the network, to like especially Warner Brothers. I got the library, so this is what we can do. They can do the same with Fox. Fox, okay, you want this? Put me this, and you'll have this library on your fucking website or the application. It's very simple how to do it, and how to set it and get your money back and money's worth for that talent. They deserve that. They really deserve to have their own television, not a fucking application. We don't. When the fuck do you see NXT having an application? We don't see that. They don't have that. They have their own television show. So it's like what we want Ring of Honor to have their own television show. That's where we are like resting about. Is really, really more of that. So I mean, but I'm just happy that we're getting something here finally. We're getting stories inputted in Dynamite that got us now weekly to tune in on what's going to happen. Like I said, I'm always going to say it no matter what. The issue with Dynamite, and I know I saw people today earlier, I saw it posted on the IWC community, the attendance on yesterday's. I know I shouldn't give two shits about it, but my thing is, in order for it to be attendance wise weekly for Tony Khan to make his money somehow, De Niro said it himself too. Shout out to De Niro. And I said one thing: marketing is always the number one thing they need to focus and really fix on. Conan said it on his podcast. Even fucking Tommy Dreamer has said it in his fucking Busted Open. Everybody has said it. Marketing, how to fucking have people to attend to those stadiums. And hey, we're gonna have this next week. I'm gonna buy my ticket. You are announcing something like a day before or during the day, and you're not getting much of attendance.
They used to do great. They used to like somebody posted like past marketing things they used to do. They used to do like, I remember what they had, Wardlow versus Cody in the cage. They did that shit 3 weeks out. And then
whose idea
they would do
was
like
that to announce it? Though?
Yo, I think telling stories helps though.
It does.
In all honesty, because just like the show yesterday, and everyone says fuck TV ratings, no one watches TV anymore. But sometimes TV ratings are indicative of what's going on. So AEW's been steady in the 600s. Guess what? 700s yesterday, up a bunch, and they were up in the major demographic. Do you know why? I can tell you why. I even had it on. I was out at the bar last night. I had the guy at the bar put the fucking show on because I was so intrigued to see what Moxley was going to fucking do. And then AEW followed through and did that story 3 times last night. That is storytelling, all right? So if they do that, it's going to make people want to come to the arenas because they're going to want to see the stories in person. That's all it is. And like we've all said it, De Niro said it, go to a smaller fucking place. You don't need to be going to such big arenas. Go to smaller places. That's all. That's it.
That's all. Yeah. That's all.
But stories, making people actually want to come to shows. If I knew All Out was going to be as banging as it did, I would have maybe wanted to go a little more than I
think AEW has been doing smaller arenas. That's what they've been doing. They've been doing like the second rate ones. Every now and then they go to a bigger one, but it's not that much. They're usually doing the smaller ones that WWE isn't doing. They're doing like the college arenas majority of the time, which is fine. That's like the secondary source, and they're doing that. It's just like you said, they need to market better. They'll put out maybe one match, maybe, and then the rest won't get put out until the day of or whatnot. And I think now that we actually have, like you said, storytelling, we're getting these teasers, the cliffhangers of what's going to happen this week. It's going to get people to want to go more rather than him just doing the all-star booking. We're going to get this and this. We haven't seen this matchup before.
Which is great. That's the thing that has been missing. The problem is that's been missing. To add on what Tim's saying is that's what's been missing, and they're doing it. However, The only issue on that is how you're marketing it to the audience, to an attendance, is where the concern is. Because if you're gonna now, you have to, like how you said, basically, you announce it 3 weeks ahead of time of a match. Why can't you do that now for the following? This is where the leniency needs to get away from Tony Khan from his roster. Say, fuck that. I need you guys here next week. We're gonna do this here next week. I think it needs the match.
And I think it needs the match. I think a big thing too is the increase in ticket prices. On top of that, if you're going to increase, because they used to be like $50, $60 a ticket, it was very cheap, affordable, whatnot. But now if you're going to raise it into the 100s and get into that WWE range where it's going to be, you got to back it up with the storyline. So
I don't mean to cut you off, but the tickets are actually very, very cost efficient, and especially when they run them in major cities like this All Out weekend for Collision. I got emails for buy one get one free tickets, and then for All Out, I got emails for 50% off tickets. And again, if I wasn't going to tailgate at 6 a.m. on fucking Sunday at the Bears game, I would have taken them up on it. But I think, and see, that also goes to marketing and them trying to sell tickets because they're trying to give you promotions to go. I think stories, boys. I think at the end of the day, tell stories and make people want to fucking go. And like you guys said, market the matches on the show better, because every day it's Wednesday and we don't know what that means, because we do know what it means. We know it's Dynamite, but we don't know what the fuck is going on Dynamite.
And the story and the stories and storytelling is going to gain the interest of the casuals, because that's what it is. You got the hardcore fans that are invested already. You need to get the casuals to come. They'd be like, "Ooh, what's going on here? This and that. Oh, we're hearing this from that person."
Bobby, do you have one more segment before you go? Do you have one more?
Oh no, it's no, man. Dynamite was great. All Out was great. I love you guys. No, it's
no, but I'm saying, do you have one more segment before?
Oh, in me? I actually got. Oh, I got a couple in me actually. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
He's
any
right
final
now.
thoughts
He's
on
ready.
Dynamite so we can move forward on the next one?
Oh, I got nothing.
Oh, can I just say one thing because I didn't say it? Yo,
Yes,
Sammy Guevara is the real fucking deal. Holyfield, for all you haters, shut the fuck up and get the fuck back, dude, because he's the fucking real deal, all right? Watch this kid continue to grow. Of the four pillars, he might be the weakest, but that kid is a fucking stud. Babyface, heel, doesn't fucking matter. That kid can go, and he showed it again last night.
Honestly,
I just said it today about him. I was like, all it took was him to have a baby to calm down with all the backstage shit.
Honestly, I don't think that was it. I think it was Dustin.
Yes.
I think the best thing they could have fucking did was they put him with Dustin in a tag team. And for some reason, and I mean, and this is a testament to Dustin. And don't get me wrong, Sammy was probably well on his way. He made a little bit. I mean, he did make a little faux pas the last time, which again, it's just normally it wouldn't be a big deal, but he made the mistake. And it was just like a long line. Anybody else would have just been getting a slap on the wrist. It was Sammy, so he got a little bit extra. But honestly, truth be told, having him tag with Dustin, if you've seen those vignettes he's done with Dustin, one, his promo skills have gotten so much better. Like his promo skills are better. The way he carries himself is much better. The way he carries himself in the tag team with Dustin is so much better.
I am so with you.
But do I think he can be one of the best that they've ever had? Yeah, I fucking think he can be. Mm-hmm. I think he can literally be as good. And I'll say it, he could be Dynamite Kid worthy.
I love that.
Look at all those voices that you put him in. Like, just think of it now.
Yeah,
he got Dustin Rhodes, you got the Von Erichs, and then you got Shibata on top of that.
Yeah, so like I think he can. I think right now, TK, you're right. He is well on his way to becoming that GOAT that we always knew he could be.
Yeah.
But I do think you're right, basically. Having that kid probably also settled him down a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I really want him to stop fucking doing that YouTube podcast bullshit, but whatever.
I think for me, what it is though, is the personality of his. Where he needed help mentally, personally, of what not to say and what to say on a product that you work for a company you work for. And keep in mind, and I know I shouldn't bring this up, but I know like Dustin had his failures, his demons.
He did.
When he learned his lesson, he became a reborn Christian, and I'm very happy for him. And he really fixed himself up, and really now is a great father and He's done everything fantastic. And a voice like that Sammy needed was a veteran like him to, hey, I've done the same mistakes what you did. And I think we can switch it up because there's a lot of things that Sammy was given the opportunity from day one when he was in AEW, and he blew it all off. This was going to be strike 3 if he did not fucking get it together. Yeah. And I'm glad that Tony Khan, and I hope it was his decision to put him in Ring of Honor, or it was Sammy Guevara's decision. Whoever it was the best decision to put him with Dustin Rhodes, because now Dustin Rhodes is going to able to help him mentally, not just during in-ring performance, telling or gimmick, but here, get your shit straight. You are a father now. You're still at your prime young age. Get it right. You do not want to lose this because he just bought a house. He used all this. He did everything. You don't want to lose at all just because you want to be your ego like the best of you and your other habits that you have. And I'm hoping that Dustin is, which I'm assuming he is. I mean, I hate to say I don't think I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that he's helping him mentally to get his fucking act together and do not piss anybody off in the fucking product. That's what I feel that he's doing.
Like I watch his YouTube thing, and I just watched the last one. You could tell the difference is like he says usually he flies in a few days beforehand, but now he says I fly the day of. That way I'm not spending too much time away from my family. Like he said it. He goes in there. He said at the end of the episode, he said, I didn't film too much of All Out because I was so focused on being ready for the match.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Like he was like, I had the priority of focusing for the match with Dustin and being able to tag with Hologram. I just didn't think to do any. So he was like, I'm sorry. It's just the match came first. And I was like, that's the important thing. It's like, boom. This guy has his priorities under him now. And all it took was time, like however it took. Having a baby, having the potential third strike that'll get him out, whatever it was. Like he's a little bit older, he's a little bit wiser. He has the right people around him now.
Yeah, that's what he needed.
To let him do that, to let him grow.
And I think they're saying Wifey's going to be hitting the ring soon. So I personally am very much so looking forward to that.
I'm excited. But you know what I'm not really excited because I want to hear you guys' thought is, yep, I want to hear it because I heard everybody in the community talk about this, but we haven't talked about this. And that is, of course, the PWI fucking review list. Now, so I'm going to bring up the top 10. Obviously, the top 10 I'm going to bring up. I'm not going to go through all the fucking list. I'm just going to go to the top 10 only, which you heard us in the chat. I was not. Look at this. So this is what we have. The top 10. Cody Rhodes, number 1. Swerve Strickland, number 2. Will Ospreay, number 3. Seth Rollins at 4. Naito at 5. Damian Priest at 6. MJF at 7. Moxley at 8. 9 at Gunther. And 10 Mystico. Now, I'm just going to digress very quickly and pass it on to you fellas. I'm going to just digress about it. But, and I know, for people are upset, why is Cody number 1? Let me tell you why. And then this is my opinion. Everybody can take it however they want. This man had a fucking Rocky Balboa fucking story told in the last 2 years, and he finally got the momentum that he wanted. The biggest fucking pop of all time at WrestleMania 40 for him to finally win the big one. And it took him this long to get it. I could go, I'm not going in details, but we already know his history, his credentials. He found himself who he is, changed his gimmick, became something, and now he's the number 1 guy for that product. And I'm happy for him. I still am happy for him to continue on to be world champion. He deserves to be number 1. That's whether people like it or not, he deserves it. The only one I would digress that why this man should not be at number 33 and why the fuck he's not in the top fucking 5, at least. I love Naito. I do. But Saxon Jr. should have been in that place. Because that man had matches. So did Naito. I'm just saying that Naito had his matches. I know it's this year's that we're talking about, but Zach as well had his matches that I feel like, okay, I'm glad he's up there. But in this case, I don't see Bryan in his list, which I'm shocked too. But that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know how the fuck Seth Rollins is there at number 4.
I can tell you why. I can tell you why.
All right. Well, take it away. The floor is yours.
The only reason why is guys like Zack Sabre Jr. and Daniel Bryan, who honestly, arguably had some of the best matches, is because they're technical wrestlers. The PWI does not reward technical wrestlers because in the PWI's eyes, they're boring, quote unquote, which everyone thinks Zack Sabre's wrestling is boring. Everyone thinks the match between Sabre and Bryan Danielson was boring. I don't understand what the fuck they saw. Excuse my language, but
TVMA, man, you can say.
I know. I'm being, but I'm just being demure and whatever. But my thing is that technical wrestling, honestly, is probably like a lot of people's favorite. But the PWI likes big shows with big spots. I mean, they like if you have a huge spot, like I am not surprised Cody's up there. He had a great storyline. But truth be told, if you look at that list, they either had a great story with a lot of pomp and circumstances behind their run, or they're used to giving us great spots 100% of the time. Because I can tell you right now, who's never actually been a number 1 on the PWI? Undertaker.
That's
granted, it's been Undertaker has never been on a PWI number 1 list. Maybe I think he's been in the top 20.
Yes.
Definitely the top 50, but he has never been number 1 as far as I know.
Can I ask you a question though, Pepsi Phil?
Yeah.
I know you're rolling, but has Undertaker actually ever had a year where he should have been number 1? He was always a complimentary piece, a big complimentary piece. But was he ever the guy at any point?
The year that they were going for the quote unquote 30-0 run, the 31-1 before he lost it, that year leading up to it, he was all over the place. When him and Brock first match, they literally had the when like in the PG era, it was the only time that run felt like Attitude Era run. That is literally like when they actually had that full out brawl in the ring and they tried to kill each other. That year, he was all over the place. When he was the American Badass, literally that should have been number 1 at one point. And truth be told, I don't know how the PWI makes their decisions sometimes, but I really suspect that if you're like technical or if your skill set is more on the cerebral side, no offense to everyone else on there, not that there's not.
As long as they don't listen to the piece of shit obnoxious, that's all I
But or that
I had to say that.
Truth be told, they don't get put high up on a list because truth be told, if it's me, I would definitely give. But like you said, Zack Sabre Jr. If you look at Zack Sabre Jr.'s run alone in the G1 Climax, that run alone literally is like a phenomenal run by him.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that should have made him number 1, but he should have been much higher on that list. Respect for Naito, definitely higher than Naito.
When does this list run from?
July to July, so it ended right before the G1.
Yeah, before the G1.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And then back to what you said, Ivan, with Naito. My question to you is, if you're going to put Cody up there before his story, why don't you put Naito up there for the story he had to go through to get that title back, where he had to win the G1? It was one of the last times he wins the G1. The only other time that he won the belt at Wrestle Kingdom, he had the roll call taken away from him because Kenta jumped him. Yep, he finally gets that moment at Wrestle Kingdom, but it's all about the story.
Sonata, though. Why does Sonata never keep the belt, man?
That's even more why the story. That's even more why the story
works. It's his boy, though.
He left Lij to become his own star, and he
exactly. And Naito had to beat him to get the title because Sonata had a great year. I
love Sonata. He's always going. I love Sonata. He's always going to be the bridesmaid.
Yeah.
I love
him. Except for the year that he was the champion for 6 months. Not
right.
Our boy was the champ, and don't ever forget it.
8 months. Remember that. Don't short him 2 months.
Thank you, Bagley.
And then on top of that, 2 big things with Naito. He's become the biggest baby face in New Japan. He gets cheered everywhere now. And then lastly, this man is doing it with no kneecaps. This man has no kneecaps, and he's workhorsing New Japan as champion. He's been the champion for the last 9 months. Give this man some credit.
I'll give him credit. I'm just saying, like,
all due respect to Chef, the Oscars mean a little bit of something.
Yeah,
that's a bigger paycheck for some people.
Okay.
But to your point, the PW, I don't know other than Meltzer's jerk off list, I don't really see it as anything else other than that. Because at this point, I was honestly surprised he didn't make Ospreay number one.
You know who I'm really happy though? Who got the moment is actually Damian Priest.
Oh yeah.
Can we say that number 6? Hey, you know what?
But honestly, that's well deserved though. Truth be told,
definitely. Can I ask you guys a question?
Mm-hmm.
Who would you guys have put first and second? I mean, like Pepsi Phil, who would you have put top 3?
Oh no, actually no. I like the list they have. Cody's storyline was probably literally it. We was all enraptured by that shit. Like the way he ran it was perfect. Say what you will about after he won the belt, but that lead up, that is a 2-year. That's 2 WrestleManias we had to suffer through for him to win that belt.
Yes.
So it does. Yeah. So definitely, as far as I'm concerned, that one. I mean, I accept that list as a being legit. However, I'm not gonna lie to you. Once you get past number 3, I would put Damian Priest a little bit higher because to say his runs, because he's like, first of all, and I don't care what anybody say, his match with Bad Bunny was legit.
No, it was a badass match.
That was a legit badass match. Shout out to Bad Bunny for that one as well. Secondly, the fact that he could carry Bad Bunny in that, the fact that he could carry the Judgment Day and not just be a guy who's leading, who's a regular guy who quote unquote starting to break away, but the fact that he could still run basically 2 storylines as a member of Judgment Day, becoming a champ and literally running the Judgment Day before it falls apart. And now he's got his storyline and him and Gunther. Like he should be, at least, in my opinion, I would put him probably at number 4.
So, man, it's so tough. I agree with a lot of the things you guys said. And Poppy, I'm so sorry, baby. I love you so much, buddy.
No, you can disagree. It's fine.
I gotta disagree on the Naito thing. I'm with Bakley there. I mean, especially we're going July to July. Naito winning the G1, winning the title of Wrestle Kingdom, becoming the guy in New Japan with Okada leaving. Like that, Naito deserves that shine in that spot. Will Ospreay, you could argue that Ospreay could have been number 1, but the problem is he didn't go and get the big one. Cody, absolutely number 1. Swerve, absolutely number 2. Ospreay, dude, Ospreay could go and wrestle fucking a beer can and put on a 5-star match. And that's what I used to say about Seth Rollins, and I believe Seth Rollins can still do it. The thing is, I just watch Will Ospreay do it every single time he's in the ring. But going back to Seth Rollins, he won that title last year, the second title that they had to create. He held it all the way through to through to WrestleMania. He deserves that number 4 spot. I wasn't thinking he did until I realized July to July. What he did with that title in the time frame that he held it, he absolutely deserves. Gunther should be top 5. I guess. Because so I'm kind of contradicting myself. So this list is a good list. Naito, Priest, like you just said, everything you just said about Priest, 6 is perfect. Gunther should be maybe, I don't know, and you can put Gunther anywhere from 3 to 7. Is it? You know what? I'd
give him 5. Honestly, I'd give Gunther 5.
It's a great list. It really is a really fucking good list, and that's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah, I think it's too soon for Zack Sabre Jr. because in that July to July range, he didn't do as much other than Wrestle Danielson, which were his highlight points. So I see him in the 10 to 20 range this year. Really? But then don't just for the fact that other than those 2 matches, what did he really do? Because the G1 this year hadn't happened for that list. Had it been August, it'd be a different story because he won that. But now next year, the fact that you're going to have him win the G1, I'm hoping presumably he's going to win the title and defend it at Royal Crest, and then after that, to each its own. He could be in the top 5 for next year's list because of how the list is constructed. But I think this year it's too soon to have him in the top 10. I mean, that's too much.
No, it's fair. I'm not saying you're just.
And based on how this list is, the way Naito got top 5 is Zack Sabre Jr. winning the G1, winning the World Championship over there, becoming the main guy over there. He absolutely should be top 5.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I think the problem with Zack Sabre is he's quiet, man. That dude is not a loud dude.
Oh,
Like,
he's loud.
He's loud.
No, he's like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, he's not one of those dudes who you will like in a promo. That dude put his foot in your ass, 100%.
Yeah, he'll put you in
However, if you think about it, when he's like not on a run,
yes.
when he's not on a run, when he's not on a run, he honestly is a pretty laid back dude. If you think about it, he is pretty like he ain't Gabe Kidd who's every 5 minutes calling somebody an asshole and jerking off in their basement.
Hey, but
like,
you know what? That's a future kid right there, man. He's
easy. In 5 years, Gabe Kidd is going to at least have several belts. I've had several. Belts.
And I know I shouldn't compare him to this, but I think I said it on Dojo Bit a while back. To basically, he is your next fucking Jay White. I'll tell you that. The attitude that he has, motherfucker's gonna have that same attitude like Jay White does.
I was thinking something. I was going to disagree because I can't figure out who he is, but he's a little bit better than Jay White was at that time. Because Jay White was nowhere near as out there as Gabe Kidd is. This man doing commentating, talking shit about his rivals, literally doing great job on commentary too. Like just some disrespectful shit, which is the reason I love him.
You're right.
I think if you're talking about positioning wise, yes, it could be Jay White.
Yeah, I'm talking about positioning wise.
Yeah, position wise, he's definitely. Truth be told, I hate to say it, but he will probably end up jumping over Finley's son. I think he will end up.
You better say Obafemi.
But David Finley. There you go, David. I think he was going to end up jumping over David Finley as the top heel in New Japan because he's just that. I mean, to quote an old friend, he's just that damn good.
I mean, he's pushing it. I like Gabe Kidd. You nailed everything what you said about Gabe Kidd. The reason why I say compared to Jay White because I
agree with you. I agree. Yeah,
it's just really like the character wise. Because Jay White with the same attitude and had the same mic skills, like compared to Gabe Kidd. Of course, it's different. It's different, time and era. But Jay was really more of a cocking himself. Like, yeah, I'm all that shit. I am the future. I am this. Like and that's where Gabe Kidd is kind of heading that direction, but in his own ways. Is like almost a little mixture of Moxley too, because he's more like a war. Like that's what he called like what is it, war dogs for a reason. He's like a fucking war dog because he wants to fucking cause chaos everywhere. That's where like I love that from Gabe Kidd, but I gotta give him the credit what credit's due.
I can't put a finger on his gimmick or who he is. It's a great gimmick, but there's something about it that reminds me of and I hate and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. It reminds me a lot of Roddy Piper.
It does.
It really does remind me of Piper. It reminds me of Piper.
Yes.
And something, and I can't figure out like it's not like obviously the runs are different and everything else is different, but there's the attitude he had that, or it's even him or Mr. Perfect, like the same kind of attitude.
About a mixture of two, both of them together.
Yeah, exactly. So, but either way, Gabe Kidd I think will probably definitely be a game changer later on. No pun intended.
Oh yes, he will.
But yeah, so I'm just waiting to see. And honestly, can you pull up Temple's PWI real quick?
Yes. What do you say? Let's see. Oh no, that's Brian's. What do you say? This one?
Yeah, that's actually a legitimate list right there. I mean, I wouldn't give it to MJ. I would give it to MJF because I'm thinking storyline. Right? You said July to July for the PWI.
Yeah, July.
When you think of that, like. I think MJF is almost too high.
I'm wondering. That's the gray area I have. That's the gray area I have.
And the only reason is because he did a great job, but he was only there from July to December, and then he was inactive from basically January all the way up to what was it, June?
Yeah, because that was the only
June. Yeah.
He was the only one I was really questioning, only because of what you said. He had to go take time off to do the movie.
See, even Lennox agreed with you.
Hey, like so, but it was just. But that's the only thing I had to question. But all the rest of the people on that list, that's a solid list. I would back 100%. Get Joe.
That's right, baby. Because this man will be here next Wednesday after the Dynamite Watch Along on Game Breakers. He will be making his debut here on the Bait Network, going live. I am excited to that. Oh my god, I can't wait to see him live.
So I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of.
Let's see, Poppy Banger, Loseki Cigar, Rum. Why is he calling it cigar?
Easy. Yeah, code. Like honestly, his post championship run has been. I'm not gonna say it's been bad, but it has not had the same shine and gloss. It's been a little anticlimactic in comparison to his run up to it. Yes.
Cody's top 5 for sure, but Gunther should have that number 1 spot.
Yeah, Gunther should have number 1 spot.
And that's a story in itself, the way that he's been affected by the roster on SmackDown with a lot of guys being out and whatnot. Mainly, you booked the whole was it Bloodline there, but then Roman takes half the year off, and then guys get hurt. That's had a huge effect on the way that Cody's been.
He's had great matches, though. He's had great matches.
So my booking, and this is me being silly, is I really want him to have a run where he has a no championship match, and he loses again to R-Truth. He gets so incensed he turns heel right there and beats the shit out of R-Truth, and him and R-Truth have a 3-month run where R-Truth is just fucking with him. Because I don't think R-Truth can get the championship, but having him go against Cody for the championship would make me so happy.
He is a national treasure.
Yeah, remember, the storyline is Cody has never beaten R-Truth, remember? The story is that when he was in Stardust, when he was dashing Cody Rhodes, he has never beaten R-Truth.
Wow. You really you played this out. I like the booking. Yeah, I like the booking, Pasty. So you're really deep here. I love it.
Because honestly, I miss Ron Killings in TNA, and I want him to come back. Don't get me wrong, R-Truth is hilarious and great.
14.
14.
Damn.
Ooh, God damn. You ain't got that is disrespectful.
I think we gotta cancel. I think we gotta cancel your show now.
I don't even know, man. I don't know, brother.
Just kidding.
I don't think you allowed in Japan. I think Logan Paul's gonna be allowed in Japan before you will be. God damn.
I think you're gonna get Brian. You're gonna get Brian that MJF spot. I think you're gonna put Brian top 10.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Is that the fucking shut? No, about that. But man, there's nothing much we can talk about this one. But the only thing I want to talk about is really more. We're seeing Jey Uso now, Braun Breaker on Raw. That's going to happen. So I'm just curious to hear you guys. Where's that going to go with the Intercontinental run? Bronson Reed returns. Love to see. I'm glad to see that. The NXT now. It's good to see Hammerstone, baby. Wow, we saw him. We saw the bloodline.
I can't do that. I can't. Don't even bring up Ham. Don't bring up Hammerstone to me.
Hey.
Never trust.
And then Julia's performance. I know I heard a lot of people's, their digression of it, and some ups and downs. But still, it's just like I'm just like, wow,
God damn. You invoking the name of Enzo? Shit.
Mm-hmm. So I mean,
I'll take the Julia one.
Break it down overall.
She was great. The only one problem, and I agree with, and I never thought, and I will say this, Billy Ray or Bubba Ray, whatever you want to use it on this one. Honestly, she still fights like she's in Japan. Like, the only real problem is her body language in between moves. And don't get me wrong, it's great, but in the audience, it's hard to pretty much, I think right now she's very new and everyone's really excited for her. However, her physical acting during matches doesn't really mesh up with what they do at WWE. And I went back and watched that match twice. First of all, Chelsea Green looked amazing. And y'all know I gotta love a Chelsea Green for that unhinged bullshit she be doing. So, but the way that she's trying to sell Julia, the way she turned it into a real match, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I forget sometimes she can actually wrestle. I forget that she actually can go. But the way that match went was amazing. I am pissed off about the Obafemi Hammerstone match because, truth be told, they should have given him a ham and egger from TNA. Because Hammerstone is a legitimate name, and I understand that they wanted to give Obafemi some real meat to battle. Back of the line, sir. Back of the line. But I didn't like that was the debut for Hammerstone, and that's what he got. I mean, I understand it was good, and he had a great match, and it was, big meaty man slapping meat. But truth be told, I would have preferred, yes, I definitely wanted part 2, but I kind of didn't. I looked at it and went, I don't want this man to lose. Like, I do not want this man to lose. Even if it's, I'd rather have him do what they did with like the Street Profits and Axiom and Frazier. Literally just literally have someone do a DQ and then bring it up later. It's just
like the family or something.
Yeah, like something like that. But honestly, I understand why they did it, and if we get a part 2, I'll be happy. But go ahead. Go ahead. No,
I was just gonna say, and we got to see on the same show for the first time since MLW, Jacob Fatu and Alex Hammerstone on the same show.
Yeah.
And then the point to you talking about the Delorean match with Chelsea Green, it was the best way they could do it, because when you look into the past, Nakamura's first match was NXT TakeOver Dallas with Sami Zayn, and what does Sami Zayn do? He is one of the greatest to work with, because he will make you look like $1 million, and that's what Chelsea Green did. And then afterwards, it took time working at the PC for Nakamura to learn the WWE way and be able to change things up. And she's gonna get there.
No doubt. It was just interesting. It was just interesting to see. Like, I'm used to seeing that mode in her in New Japan. It's really weird to see it in WWE because, like I said, there is a different feel for it. But moving on, Jey Uso. I love Jey Uso. My only real question is, does Jey Uso get anything with a tag belt, with a belt? Does Jey Uso get bigger with that belt? Does the rub that Jey Uso will get with that belt will be higher than what he has right now? They're like versus Braun Breaker, who, and respectfully, needs that belt because he is so brand new, for lack of a better word. He still got new car smell on him. Jey Uso is so hot, he don't even need to wrestle that day. He comes out, and there's a huge pop. So my question is I appreciate them giving him the shot, but I don't think that man gonna win. He might, and the room will blow up, but at that point, it's like, who else he gonna fight? Rhea?
I think it would be cool as fuck if he won and give him that singles belt. Has he earned it?
Yes,
he fucking has.
Yes,
he has earned it to the fucking millionth fucking degree. What will happen though?
Yeah,
he's about to win that match, and then who's gonna come out? The bloodline. And that's where it's gonna start with him going back to Roman and Jimmy.
Yes, exactly.
Roman and Jimmy is starting Friday. This shit's starting Friday. Right?
Yeah, that's what I think too. 100%. I think that's.
I don't think it's gonna be bloodline. I think the Judgment Day is gonna be why he loses.
Oh,
okay.
Because you got to remember the little thing going on with him and the Judgment Day, and then you kind of have Sami intertwined. But right now, it's just Sami's doing his thing with encouragement from Jay to go after the IC title. Now he's going after Gunther, encouragement from Jay, and then in the meantime, Jay was encouraged to do the same thing, go after Solo. And then Braun kind of egged him to want to do it even more. But I think that's what's going to happen. But while he's doing that, he's in a mega run with Rhea Ripley and then becoming friends with Damian Priest on the side, his side piece. And then that's what's happening there. That's gonna make the match with Braun Breaker even more to tell him that that's how he's going to lose. And somehow, Judgment Day is going to get involved because of him getting involved in their business.
And he does have Braun should and could win this match clean. Jay should not lose this match clean. So whether it is the Judgment Day, which makes a hell of a lot of sense, but the whole thing with the Judgment Day is this: I don't want Jay involved. We don't have time for Jay. We don't have time for Jay to be involved with this. Jay and Sammy need to go right to this other bloodline story. Survivor Series is fucking 14 weeks away. It's 14 weeks away, okay?
So here's the question I have about the bloodline. Here's the question I have for the bloodline for both of y'all.
It's actually 8 weeks away.
Oh, yeah, it's 8 weeks. So here's my question. Did you see the promo Cody gave Solo before their cage match?
Yeah.
I am not going to lie to you. I've been pulling for Solo to be like the guy. I'm not going to lie to you. When Cody went, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to Jacob. I think that did some damage to Solo right there. Because honestly, everyone's already been saying Jacob Fatu is way more interesting and way more closer to being a tribal chief than Solo is. Everybody's already saying Jacob's going to turn on Solo. I mean, I don't know about that, but my question is that is this particular run more detrimental? Even though it's good for the bloodline, is it detrimental for Solo?
I don't think it can be detrimental for Solo solely because he's had multiple world title shots. He's been the leader of the new bloodline. I mean, whether they turn on him or not, I think this role has been great for him. Now, if he goes to go back to the Roman bloodline with his brothers and he's the fourth wheel again, I think that'll end up being detrimental. But let's be real. Those three guys on NXT look way fucking better without suited up fucking Solo, dude.
Yeah, I was about to say.
They look fucking charged. They look crazy. Tonga Loa actually looked good for once, dude.
Yeah.
Those three guys looked real good.
If you see,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, I don't think they need Solo.
If you see the memes, if you see the memes on social media of them going to NXT, it's like Jacob Fatu, Solo's dime piece. It says Tamatanga. It says former tag champ, and then the current tag champ now in SmackDown, and then this Tonga Loa, and it's this list of just over dramatic, like he's the man, he's God.
What do they call him? The undeniable, or what the fuck? What was the word they called him? But yes, I saw that. That was really
good. Oh, did you see? Go ahead. Did you see the storyline that apparently Ava, where she did her joke was? She goes, if y'all wanted to come on to my show, y'all should have just asked.
There's a lot to that, considering that he's going to be the one running them anyway.
Yeah, exactly. The irony, it just makes me laugh going like, that's your niece. What the fuck y'all doing? Y'all could have called ahead. Shit.
And I'm starting to think that Sammy and Jay aren't going to be part of it at all.
I mean, I don't think so.
I'm thinking with everything going on, how are you going to do that? Because you got these storylines that are going to go into Bad Blood, which is October essentially, and then you're probably going to get a thing to where it's going to be Judgment Day versus Jay and Sammy, and maybe Sammy and Jay win the tag titles.
And they should have already won the fucking tag.
Yeah, and that could go into the Saudi show in the beginning of November, I believe it is. So if that happens, how are you going to intertwine that into them going over to SmackDown unless that's the trade piece that we haven't seen Nick Aldis get back in return from Adam Pearce for having Waller, Randy Orton, and what's his name, Grayson Waller appear on Raw.
Okay, first of all, his name is Nicholas the Prickless. Let's go with that. Get it right, because our queen Chelsea Green has spoken.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and she's got a point here.
The only way you do it, the only way you get them involved, you have 13 weeks till Survivor Series. The only way that you get these guys involved is at the Bloodline. What if the Bloodline not only costs Jay the Intercontinental title, but what if the Bloodline costs Sammy the world title? All right, and they go, but you can't do that. That makes no sense. No. You're right. What you're saying makes far more sense than any involvement that these two men would have with this fucking other bloodline story.
And we still got Hikuleo, who still has
Tammy reminded me of that.
And it's been noted that The Rock's going to appear on TV in the next month or so. So we still have to see where he's going to end up, which I still think that he's the guy pulling the strings with this new bloodline of some sort.
I mean,
and with that,
I think it's a Samoan Tongan war about to happen. I think they turn
Yeah.
on Solo. Hikuleo shows up, takes out Solo. Solo has to go back to Roman, and then it's the four Samoans versus the four Tongans.
But, but who's going to be
Roman, Jimmy, and Solo,
and then who else?
Jimmy, Jay. I think Jay comes in. I think Jay's going to come in there somehow because, like you said, I think at some point he gets dragged into it. I'm not entirely sure how. And again, this is just me speculating and me pushing my things I want to see. But honestly, having the Gorillas of Destiny, Jacob Fatu, and Hikuleo go after the entire bloodline makes me way too happy because a Polynesian civil war would be great.
What if they just did The Rock with Roman and Jimmy and Jay?
Yeah. I mean, The Rock and Roman.
I know that sounds lame. And then in the War Games match is when The Rock fucking turns.
Yeah,
I was just thinking that too.
Yeah. I mean, Rock and Roman will happen somehow, some way. Although I don't think it's going to be a pay-per-view. I think it's going to be I feel like that'll either be Mania or SummerSlam because it's got to be a huge ass event for it to actually really happen. I think the turn. Oh, I'm sorry. We got to what?
No, I was sorry. Just thinking to myself out loud, but
it could be Saudi. Saudi wouldn't be a bad spot too.
And I was just thinking, who knows? We could still get Cody involved in it because Cody has shit with The Rock that's still unsettled. Because remember him handing Cody something and him saying,
"No,
for this. I'm coming for this title."
No. Cody he's gonna have his issues with R-Truth when he turns on R-Truth. I want that so bad.
But Cody could be involved, and that's where you set up Cody and Rock at Rumble or Cody and Rock. Yeah. I still think it's going to be Roman and Rock at Mania this year, but I don't know. There's just like we were talking about with AEW and so many different lanes they can go down.
Yeah.
Clearly, there are so many different lanes they can go down with this. It's fucking sick.
Mm-hmm. Best part ever.
Oh my god.
I mean, what else can we say about what else can we say about this NXT and
I honestly I want our boy to come back. I want Bronson Reed to get his ass back and feel better and come back.
His showing in the main event was dope, dude. When he flashed through Braun in the through the table, dude. I worked out like a fucking kid, dude. I was like,
exactly.
He needs to wear all black from now on out. Like, don't have him wear those other colored trunks, just the black. The black makes things look
so. I mean, I know the COVID thing kind of slowed his run a little bit. I don't think it slowed it much. Does he get involved with Bronson Reed? We get a Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Jay interfere with a Bronson Reed, Jesus Christ, Braun Breaker, Jay match with Bronson Reed interfering in it.
See, I think he's in the Bronson Reed's in the same spot he was going to be. Period. I think he was going to be in the finals, but I don't think he was going to win. Maybe Braun Strowman actually was going to be the one to cost Bronson Reed the match and come back from his injuries here, and they did just the flip flop because Reed got COVID. But I think he's in the exact same spot he was going to be in, regardless.
He's just waiting for Seth Rollins to come back.
Okay. Okay. No. Yeah. Okay.
Although I do want Bronson and Braun in the worst. So bad.
And then can I just give a shout out to the Bruiserweight himself, working Raw and SmackDown, doing that fatal 4-way, and then doing the last man standing match the very next day.
Speaking of workhorses.
Yeah, man.
Back-to-back main events. You're right. That's big for Pete Dunne. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And don't forget, he took a shillelagh to the shot to the face from Sheamus.
Good shout out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a really good shout out, man. But Julia's performance for me was great. I heard Bully Ray what he had to say. He's probably not familiar with her. That's probably why he kind of digressed a little bit, was not impressed. I mean, but we got to give Chelsea Green her credit. She took a beating and took it. And I am excited to see what Julia's going to do in NXT. I can't wait to see Stephanie Bakir when she shows up. And do we see her dethrone Roxanne at the CW's premiere?
Oh yeah,
I think it's gonna happen. I think it's time for Roxanne to. She'll probably have her trilogy with Julia there, and then after that, what else can you go to? Probably go after the North American Women's Championship. I don't mind seeing her not doing that.
She might honestly. She could move up.
That could be the case too. I'm thinking that
Roxanne?
she could probably move up.
Yeah, I mean, I think
you have to. I don't think you downgrade her to.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing, but I think she's done as much as she can. Like, what has she not done other than go after that? Which I think that just came like a few months ago. So it's like,
no,
I think
on the main roster ASAP, man. Bailey.
But which roster does she go to though?
SmackDown.
They need help over there.
Yeah,
easy.
They have enough women on Raw. God bless them. They got enough women on that roster. SmackDown needs some help.
To Roxanne on SmackDown. Oh my God.
And honestly, she's perfect for SmackDown. Because truth be told, I'm still waiting for Alexa Bliss to come back, and an Alexa Bliss Roxanne match has me giddy.
I want Roxanne and Bailey, and I want Roxanne and Charlotte. Bad.
Oh, I forgot that she's should be on her way back closer to SummerSlam. I mean, not SummerSlam, Survivor Series. I mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, what else we got, brother?
All right, well, hold on. I'm working on it right now. Well, bear with me here.
And then I do want to point something out while you're doing that. What's the status of? I do know that Nakamura's in catering, taking pictures of people. I know that's what he's doing right now, which I blasphemous that if they can't put him on TV. But what's the status of AJ Styles right now? We haven't seen him since June.
I have no idea. That's the question that we all want to know. What are they going
to do? Apparently, he was supposed to come back on like weeks ago, and then they held off on it, and we just haven't heard anything since.
I think they're trying to figure out. Well, the lone wolf thing didn't really go anywhere, unfortunately.
Well, I think that was just for the whole thing to set up him and Cody.
But no, but remember that lone wolf thing was happening before because remember he left the OC.
Yeah.
But that's a long run for Cody. I mean, and then not to do anything after that. I mean, but honestly, they haven't actually had anything for AJ to do, which is unfortunate. And I hate to say it this way. Honestly, I think they pull a Dolph Ziggler and send him to NXT to beat up everybody down there. Because trust me, him versus Trick Williams would be amazing. Like Trick can learn a lot from that dude, and let's face it.
And he kind of did the same thing with
if you can't wrestle Shawn Michaels, wrestling AJ Styles the next best thing.
And he did go, like you said, he did go down and wrestle Grayson Waller.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I am ready. All right, now it's that time because we have just to close it out with this one here. We're gonna close it out with this last segment. Is prediction time, baby. Yes,
The 7 deities have come to me with a very powerful premonition.
That's right, premonition. Because tomorrow night we're gonna have TNA Wrestling Victory Road. They got a lot of matches. I know there's a pre-show that's happening, which you got Steve Macklin versus Eric Young again, Jake Something versus Hammerstone, which I'm looking forward to seeing that. Kushida versus Leon Slater. You have the Hardys versus, of course, Casey Navarro and Mr. High Class right there, whatever the hell his name is.
Yo, good for Casey Navarro. I had no idea that was going down. That's dope.
He's part of that crew now, so he's part of
that. Him, dude. Much love to him. Nice.
I'm so
all it took was Rick Swann getting in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Yeah, he got in trouble.
Wait, again.
That's I don't. That's another story for another time for that guy. You have, of course, the Militia defending their women's tag team titles versus Spitfire. You have ABC defending their TNA tag team titles versus the System, the rematch. You have Zachary Wentz defending the X Division title versus Speedball Mike Bailey. You have Josh Alexander versus Joe Hendry. Yes, I said his name. And we have Jordan Grace versus Wendy Chu for the Knockouts Women's Championship. In the main event, you have Nick Nemeth defending the TNA World Heavyweight Championship versus Moose. So those are the matches that we're having tomorrow for yes. We believe.
Wave your hands from side to side and say,
Damn it, Bakley.
oh, I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry.
That's right.
I'm innocent. I'm innocent now. I didn't press anything.
All right.
So
we're just doing these three. Perfect with me because I'm a little bit exhausted.
No, I know. No, me too, because I'm exhausted too. But yeah, I mean, we could talk about ODS, these three. I mean, but if you guys want to bring up the other ones, you're more than welcome to. So I mean, I'll start off with you, Bakley. What are you excited for this pay-per-view happening tomorrow?
Well, I am excited for Wentz and Mike Bailey, so I just wanted to point that out. Even though I think Wentz retains, I think I'm still wondering what they're going to do with Mike Bailey, because I think he's one of the most talented wrestlers on that roster, workhorse guy. So hopefully there's a bigger plan with him afterwards. I think this whole Wentz thing is going to center around him and Wesley at CW on the CW premiere. But I'm looking forward to Nick Nemeth defending the title against Moose. Hey, I think you could go either way with that, with potentially the other match there in the middle with Alexander and Hendry. I think that's a perfect way to have Hendry win, defeat a former champion, and then boost him even more to get that title shot. I think you have Nemeth beat Moose as a big notch of, like he said, he has not beaten Moose. He's still holding that down that he didn't beat him, and which would set up Nemeth and Hendry at Bound for Glory main event, because Nemeth is going to carry that match in a way where he, like we said all along, he's a good hand. He's a guy that's going to make a match out of it. Moose could, the whole Moose and Hendry thing could, but we've seen that match already. We've seen it 3 times, in fact. And then I like the fact that they're doing Friday the 13th and they're doing Wendy Chu wrestling Jordan Grace. Think about it with our character and it being Friday the 13th. That's a nice tease there. That's going to be a good way of having NXT come over, challenge her, but then have Jordan Grace, of course, win that match. Because I've said all along, they're doing these mashups. It seems like when NXT comes over to TNA, TNA wins. When TNA goes over to NXT, they win, with the exception of Zachary Wentz beating Wesley.
Okay. Hey, Poppy, can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Do you remember earlier when I went on my little rant about All Out, and then Bakley's like, well, yeah, I got nothing to say, and then you went and played it's such good. Yeah, that's what you just did, Bakley. You were impeccable right there. Phenomenal job, Bakley. Phenomenal job.
Yes, you did. Such good shit. See?
Such good.
What the hell is it? It's everywhere. See, I have so many things here that I need to fucking figure out what the hell, what am I gonna keep and what not, because I need to redo this. Oh my god, there's so much.
What
the hell is it, Bakley? I don't even know what the fuck is it.
It's such good shit.
There it is. That's what it was, Bakley. That's what you just spit, man. You just everything you just said was so spot on. Joe Hendry, the whole trajectory of his year has been winning the belts at Bound for Glory. I mean, anyone who's got any sort of eyes, Felipe.
Shout out for right. My man Felipe, what's going on from Suplex Chile, man? Oh man, shout out to Chile. ¿Cómo estás? Buenas noches, hermano. Ojalá todo que esté bien. That's right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, go
yes.
ahead,
No, man, no. Bakley nailed. No, I really don't have too much to say because Bakley hit it all on the head. We all knew Joe Hendry was going to go to Bound for Glory in the championship match and hopefully win the belt. And what better way to do it to go over a guy like Nick Nemeth? I mean, this guy had left WWE. He won every belt, Grand Slam champion of WWE. He went to Mexico and won a title. He went to Japan and won a title. He became the TNA world champion, all right? He has won a belt everywhere he has gone since leaving the big dog. what better way for Joe Hendry to solidify himself as a world champion than beating a real world champion? So I'm excited. Let's go. That's great. The Wendy Chu match, Friday the 13th. That's beautiful, Bakley. That's another great call out right there.
Yeah, great call out.
And let Jordan Grace continue doing her thing, defeating NXT opponents. And I'm excited for Casey Navarro, dude. That's my dog, man. I love him. Warrior Wrestling Champion for the longest time. I saw him live so much, dude. Love Casey Navarro.
I remember seeing him with you. Well, yeah, with you. We saw him.
Yeah, I wasn't with you. I saw the show after. I didn't get that Warrior. That was when you guys got to sweat in that little gym, sadly. I wasn't there for that quite yet. But no, he was the Warrior World Champion for a long time. I met him a bunch of times. It was awesome. So shouts to Casey Navarro for sure.
Down for the unemployment line, more like, come on, Temple, give it. And no, absolutely.
And no belt for Hendry.
He said it. All right.
So yeah, I actually don't. I mean, you guys pretty much covered it 100%. The Wendy Chu and Friday the 13th thing is a really good idea. Honestly, I actually think Mike Bailey will win. Just because, like you said, you want to talk about a goddamn workhorse, a dude who has been in there 100%. He has been. I'm not saying he does not. He hasn't. Anyone else doesn't do it, but I think he has earned that right a lot more than anyone else has. But other than that, these three matches are good. The Moose Nick Nemeth will be interesting. Josh Alexander, Joe Hendry. I don't know if that looks good on paper only, but I think that could be something as well. But overall, yeah. Then like I said, the Wendy Chu Jordan Grace match is, I don't know what to do with that shit.
It's a setup for Grace and Rosemary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it because, like I said, I enjoy the end. For some reason, Rosemary and Wendy Chu together just makes me happy. I'm just like, fuck is going on here? But anyway, that's all I got for Victory Road. Like I said, I haven't been following TNA enough to really make any other additional comments than that.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing, looking at the card, it's a stack card. It's good to see the ABC. I'm happy for them. But the one that, of course, the one is meaningful in this is, I'm curious, is the Nick Nemeth and Moose. What's JBO plans that he's have? What did he tell him? That's where, I want to know. Ever since we saw Emergence and he showed up right after, told him something, and then we don't know exactly details of it. So I don't know what's going to happen in the aftermath here after Moose. So I see Nick Nemeth, of course, retaining. I don't see Moose retaining this title, regaining this belt. Joe Hendry will get his revenge from fucking Josh Alexander. And Alexander, he's the one that cost him to, be in the finals of that, elimination at Slammiversary. We were all like, oh my God. But this is now the opportunity for Joe Hendry to overcome Josh Alexander. Don't forget, Alexander's contract's almost up, but we already know he's going to end up staying. So that could be the case here. I see that happening. I don't see him going anywhere else or going to, Scott D'Amore's Make Believe Pro Wrestling. That's not the debut till October. We'll find out how's that going to turn out to be. But once we see that the card and the event, how's that going to turn out to be? And seeing, Zachary Wentz versus Speedball, I wouldn't be surprised at the same time if he loses the belt right away that quick, if it wasn't for Wesley showing up and causing him to lose that belt. And then that's when they are going to have their Chicago street fight at fucking CW and make it more of that shit. Which, I digress. So why did he lose the belt, already so soon? He won at the Slammiversary. Why the fuck did he lose the belt here? Unless they were building for this one before Wesley and Zachary Wentz for him to win the belt and then lose this. So I don't know. That could be the case here on this one. It's that card. And like I mentioned, Casey Navarro, I'm happy for him. He took the place from Swan, unfortunately, but that's his shit. But I'm happy that they're doing something with Navarro. He's on television, so I'm happy for that. The card is stacked. They just got to start building now, moving forward. What's going to happen next, heading into Bound for Glory? Because, I don't know what other events they have. I think after that, it is Bound for Glory, right?
Yeah. It's this, and then Bound for Glory is in a month. And so, I would just want to add that I think Team ABC wins against the system.
Yep.
They solidify having the belts and defend them against that. I'm excited to see where they go from here because I think ABC is my favorite tag team. I'm very underrated. They need more recognition. I want to see them on NXT so bad.
Oh, I know. I want to see Casey Navarro be there.
I want to, him too. But like, I see just some of the tag teams and whatnot. I'm like, damn, ABC could work with these teams.
ABC versus Fraxium would be awesome, dude.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, those two tag teams would ball out, even if like you set them over there or somehow do it. Like, I don't know, just make it happen. Just please put me in my happy place.
Absolutely.
I'd like to put you in your happy place.
Yes.
Every Friday.
Happy, yes. But that was it for today, folks. But man, we'll be back here next week. But don't forget to tune in tomorrow at Game Breaker Sports. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, tune in for the Friday SmackDown watch along. And don't know what's happening on the weekend. I know is that there's a lot of things happening, happening in the world of sports. You have the UFC fighting at the Spear. You have Canelo fight happening that Saturday. So there's a lot of things happening there. We got TNA tomorrow, right after SmackDown or during SmackDown for the Victory Road. I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out to be, and see what's going to happen in Collision between the Grizzled Young Veterans and FTR. How that story's going to develop. So much shit happening in the world of professional wrestling, but there's a lot more coming. But man, before we close it out here, I want to thank, of course, we're family here, but always, these people are going to let you know, my familia right here, let the people know where can they find you, where can they, find you on social media, where can they search you. So I'll start with the man of 1,000 words. Take it away, the floor is yours.
As Chris Bay said, with arms wide open, like I said earlier in the episode, but you can find me on social media at X and on IG at CageIQ. Of course, it's always great to come on the flagship show and talk shop, talk wrestling and whatnot. But you can always find me every Tuesday with the Redeemer, Justin, filling in for him right down there. I know he's here in spirit. He was in the chat every Tuesday from 8 to 10 Eastern to the NXT watch along. We got a lot of things going on in NXT to talk about. So I always look forward to being on there with him, having a great time. And then, of course, we got Dojo Debates with Ivan. We got New Japan cooking up, getting ready for Destruction in Kobe, followed by, of course, King of Pro Wrestling. We're waiting for Zack Sabre Jr. to win that title. So we'll be back to talk everything with Kobe and with King of Pro Wrestling and the lead up to the World Tag League.
That would be fire. Yes, that would be fire. Poppy, let the people know where can they find you.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Poppy, thank you so much for having me on the flagship for sure. It's been a blast, man. I've missed it so much. It's been far too long. Anytime I can come chop it up with you and Pepsi Phil and my main squeeze, Bakley, man, it's always a great fucking time for sure. Just Game Breaker Sports. Go on YouTube, Game Breaker Sports. Go over there, subscribe to this channel. If you're watching on Twitter right now, which I know you are, swing the fuck on over to YouTube, type in Circle of Debate, subscribe to this network. These guys are doing the fucking thing most days a week. Watch-alongs, PLEs, pay-per-views, gaming. Swing on over here from Twitter, Circle of Debate. Subscribe to this channel. You can find me on Game Breaker Sports on YouTube and on TikTok, Game Breaker Sports Net.
That is right. That is right. That's what we look for. That's where you're the banger, baby. Oh, the banger. That's
banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger after banger.
That's right. Banger. And of course, the attorney at law. Let her know where they can find you.
If you want to find me, I do a bunch of stuff online, writing and artwork, otherwise, and stories. Just go to my Instagram, PhilipJP at 24601, or just come back to Circle of Debate. And I can come up here, come to the watch along, come to the parties, stay for the enjoy, stay for the fun.
That's right. You already know. That is right. Yes. So you know it's already that time, folks. It is that time.
Transform and roll out.
Yes, we're rolling out of here. But you already know, folks, here at, don't forget, The description is right below all the links where you can find Mi Familia right here. Find them there and make sure, don't forget to go to GameBreakerSports.com for all the sports entertainment, sports, pro wrestling, much more to find us there. But until then, folks, you already know, here on Game Breaker Sports in the Circle of Debate and Cage My Q and the Attorney of Law, we don't just do podcasting, entertainment, sports, or speak 1,000 words like this man does, because he does it most of the day, every day, but he brings you knowledge. That's what he does. You tell them, folks, what the hell are we doing here?
We
make
history.
Thank you. Peace.
Must bid you adieu, a goodbye, mwah, and good night. Oh my God, it's so great. Bang! Yes!